Jamie?
Thanks, Anthony. Good afternoon, Antonio.
Good afternoon.
The long-term injuries obviously are still Skip and Tanganga and Doherty. Is Sergio Reguilon the only other question mark for you?
No, he's not available. No. He hadn't a training session with us and he's not available. Honestly, I don't know because there are only 2 weeks now, and before the end of the season, if it would be possible to him to come back in this season.
And that's the only no other injury for us?
No. No.
My first question is about Heung-min Son. I think he's scored more goals than anybody else with his weaker foot this season. He's 3 behind Mo Salah now for the Golden Boot. What an achievement would it be for him to get that Golden Boot, and what have you seen in his progression this season?
But yeah, for sure, I knew him, no? I knew him in the past, but now to see him during the training session, and you can understand the quality of the player, and for sure he's a player that wants to improve himself, and I think this is the main reason, because you are seeing him in this peak of form, and he's working very hard, and I see him every day with the will, with the right desire to improve himself and to work for the team, because don't forget that he's scoring a lot, but at the same time during the game he helps a lot the team without the ball. And for me, when happened this, and I'm very happy. I'm very happy because I understand that I have a player that think not only to himself, but before think for the team, and then for himself.
Final question from me. It's an easy question to ask. It's more difficult to answer. How do you beat Liverpool?
Yeah, but we are trying to have a good idea, and I hope not the same idea of Liverpool. Yeah, and for sure we know that in this moment it's very difficult to play against Liverpool, because they are in a really good form, and I watched the game against Villarreal, and it was incredible, the composure, the calm that the team faced a difficult situation, because after the first half they were 2-0 down, and the atmosphere was very, very difficult for Liverpool, and I have seen great composure, great calm of the team, and now they know that the team is strong. The team is, I think, one of the best team in the world, with Manchester City, and they are very, very good. And but at the same time, it will be a good game for us. We prepared the game very well, and I think we need to be very good without the ball, to be good defensively, and but if we want to win, and we have to be very good with the ball, and I said this to my players. We need to play a good game, and to have brave when we have the ball. Don't be scared for their pressure, and to find the solution, because I think that we improved a lot, and we can go there and to play, to try to get 3 points. Also because you know very well that we are in this race for a place in Champions League, and For this reason, we need to try to get point every game. Not many time available for us, and for this reason, every game is a big chance for us to improve the table. Also, if the game, in this game, you have to try to beat Liverpool. Thank you.
Roger.
Hi, Antonio.
Hi.
Just regarding Liverpool, Spurs have drawn with them, beaten Manchester City twice. Can you see that your players perhaps are able to lift themselves for these games against the very best, or is it the case that against these teams that you know are going to go on the attack, maybe that suits the way you play?
But I think for sure when you play against these important teams and it's important that there is the great desire, no, to everybody to find a way to stop this top team, and this reason against Manchester City happened twice, and against Liverpool we drew at home. Yeah, I for sure when you play with the team that like, no, to play face to face, I think also for the characteristic of my players in my team, and maybe it's better when instead we find a team very deep and not so much space, to exploit. Yeah, I think this, but also in the game against Leicester, and against Leicester we played the team face to face. We attack, you attack, we attack, you attack, and then maybe it's better for us to find a situation, a team that defend very deep and don't give you many space. Yeah, I think for the characteristic of my players.
Given what Liverpool are trying to achieve in terms of going for a quadruple and what you're trying to achieve getting top four, but they've got so much going on at the moment, is there a point where maybe that pressure can start to really weigh on them between now and the end of the season, do you think? Do you think there's something you can exploit there? There's so much expectation on them.
No, honestly, I think that when you arrive at this point of the season and you are in race for every target, give you a big push to try to do something incredible, and I think Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp is doing a fantastic job with this team, and it's not easy, especially for an English team, and to arrive at the end of the season with the possibility to stay in the race for all the competition that you compete. Yeah, I think that is incredible, because you can see the Liverpool's players, they run a lot. They have not many injuries, and they're doing a fantastic job in this moment. For sure, the enthusiasm is not 100%, is 200%, and you don't feel the fatigue when you arrive at this point. For this reason, and we have to go there to play our game. I repeat, and we want to go there to play our game, and you know very well that we are in the race for a place in Champions League, and we have to try to find a point, to get point in every game. Also, if this game you have to play against one of the best team in the world away, but yeah, we are preparing very well this game, and like usually, and we'll do what happened.
Thanks, Roger. Ian?
Hi, Antonio.
Let's see.
Has Jurgen Klopp got any weaknesses as a manager?
but I think that I can speak about the weaknesses of the team, not about the manager, because the manager, and it's very difficult not to speak about the person. For sure, Jürgen Klopp is doing a fantastic job for Liverpool, and he needed a bit of time to create this amazing team. But now it's very difficult to find a problem in this team. Yeah, a weak point in this team is very difficult.
Given that, I mean, you played against some great teams when you were a player. Where would you rank now this Liverpool team in terms of the great teams you either played for or you managed against, you've seen throughout your football career? I mean, is this one of the most special teams that you will ever have seen during your career in football?
But in my career in football, and I was lucky. I was lucky because I have seen many amazing team, and when I was player, also I think Italian league was the best in the world, and for this reason maybe I have seen in Italy the best team that I can compare in this moment with Liverpool, because I repeat, at my time and the best players were in Italy. And now you can see in England this situation, and yeah, but it's very difficult to compare. To make comparison, no? The past, I think every single team has good situation in a positive way. Yeah, a bit of weakness, but only few, because when you arrive at the end of the season, I repeat, and you are in the race for every target, it means that you are really strong.
George?
Antonio, hello. How would you feel if you win at Anfield on Saturday and you've beaten Man City at the Etihad, but you still finish fifth? I mean, that would sound crazy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but yeah.
Win at them too.
Yeah, I think.
But still finish fifth. That's typical Tottenham, is it?
No, I think that, it's important to go step by step, and in the past it happened that we've beaten City. Now we have this important challenge for us, because as you said, we are in the race for a place in Champions League, and for us as Liverpool, to get points are very important, because they are fighting to win the league, and we are fighting for a place in Champions League. And I think that we have to go step by step. We have to try, first of all, to get point on Saturday, and then we'll see what happens. But we have to, I repeat, to start to get points. It won't be easy, because the game it won't be easy for us. But for sure, the game won't be easy also for them.
Have you given Mr. Paratici and Daniel Levy your shopping list for players you want for the summer, for the next season?
No. We are totally focused. On this season. Also because, I repeat, we are finishing this season with only 15 players, and I think that in this moment it's not convenient for them to give them a list, because it will be very big. Understand? It's not a good moment to give them the list.
Thanks, George. Okay, we'll go Ali and then finish with Jack, please.
You mentioned earlier there about Sonny being such a team player, and when you hear him speak, he doesn't even care about how many goals he scores, it's about the team. Do you think that humble attitude that he's got, does that maybe stop people outside Tottenham realising just how top a player he is?
Yeah, I think that in this team, yeah, for sure, Sonny. We are talking one of the best players, you know, in this team, and to score goal, to have a good performance, you need also of the team, because only one player can change the life of the team. And for this reason, I think that Sonny is giving a lot to the team is giving a lot to him, to support him and to score goals. And but I repeat, we are talking about a really good guy. I see him every day, and he's an humble guy, and he's always with a smile in his face. And to be his coach for me is a great pleasure, is a great honor. And but as you know very well, it's important personal target, but the most important thing to try to match, no, personal target with a great achievement for the team. In this way, your personal target become more important.
And another attacking player, obviously played very well, Dejan Kulusevski, when he came off the bench. Obviously, he's on loan at the moment. Will you be advising the club in the summer to make that a permanent move?
Yeah, but I think that he's on loan, but it's like a deal ended, and he's a Tottenham player 100%, and in every aspect. Yeah, not officially, but he's a player. He's a 100% player, a Tottenham player. Yeah.
Jack, I'll finish with you, please.
Antonio, you always want your team to build up from the back through Romero, but given how Liverpool press, do you think you'll have to kick the ball long on Friday?
Tomorrow, not Saturday. Sorry, Saturday. You will see, which is our plan. Yeah, I don't want to give advantage at a team that I think that they don't need to have advantage to us. But this is a good question. But I prefer to find the answer during the game.
Because when you said earlier you want the team to be good with the ball on Saturday,
Yeah.
does that mean you want them to dominate the ball or just be clever when you do have it?
No, it means that when you have the ball, you have to try to create chances to score. And for sure, you know very well the intensity that Liverpool try to press, no? And you have to be ready, you have to be brave to try to understand the way that they are going to press and to try to overcome this.
Thanks, Jack. Okay, we'll end the broadcast section there, please, and move on to the embargoed section. We'll start.
What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for another preview stream for you guys. Massive game this weekend at Anfield. 7:45 kickoff. Tottenham take the long trip up to Liverpool this weekend. And is it a free hit or do we need to get a result?
You can look at it two ways. It's interesting working out like the maths of the top four situation, because you could argue that in a way, whether we draw or we lose tomorrow, it doesn't make too much of a difference mathematically. So you might, in terms of what we need from the North London derby and beyond that, so you might as well go for the victory. But if we do lose, and Arsenal win, we could be 5 points behind in before the North London derby. And from that sense, it could be, if Arsenal get a result against us, it could be all over, and that would be disastrous. You don't want to be going to that situation with that kind of pressure. You want to be within touching distance of Arsenal going into it. So, in a way, it's a free hit, but in a way, you could argue we also are desperate for a victory in that sense. But I think if we're drawing with going late into the game, there's no point settling for a draw in this game.
If we do win this weekend, does the pendulum change and we're now the favourites of top four?
I agree. I think so. Even if Arsenal win, I think if we win this weekend and we go into the North London derby 2 points behind, the pendulum swung our way, I think, because you got to think we're going to be super motivated in that North London derby to win the game. And them coming to our ground, it's going to be a hostile atmosphere. It's going to be but it should be an unbelievable game. So we need to be in a situation where we're about 5 points. We're at least 2 points behind going into that. That would be ideal, or even 3 points. If they draw and we win and they draw, we'll be 3 points behind.
Yeah, but obviously if we draw,
we're 2 points behind now.
Yeah.
So if we win and they draw, we level on points with them.
No, but if we draw and they win, it's still going to be a few points going
4
into that
points.
North London derby. But if we can beat them in the North London derby, let's say if we draw and they win, it does, pressure's on them in the last couple of games.
Definitely. And the thing is, whether we lose or draw, the math stays the same, because we still need them to either to draw one of their last 2 games. If we beat them in the North London derby, it doesn't make too much of a difference. That point won't make too much of a difference. It would have done if we would have got the draw against Brighton, but we didn't.
Yeah, but look, the way we're going to structure today is we're going to do the opposition preview first with Alex from COP TV just before we bring him on, and then we're going to go into our match preview and then get you guys on to have your say on the big game this weekend. But without further ado, let's bring on Alex from COP TV.
Yes, gents. How are we?
We're all good, Alex. How are you, my friend?
I'm very well. Thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. I've been watching you guys from afar across the years, and it's nice to finally link up, man.
Yeah, man. Really nice to have you on. Obviously, a massive game this weekend for both clubs. Yeah. You're going for the league title. We're going for top 4. How are you feeling coming into this game?
Yeah, feeling good. And before anyone gets into it and says, where's this Scouse accent? I live in Liverpool, literally opposite the Albert Docks, and my mum's from Liverpool, as all my family are.
Just to get that out there before anyone says
it's easier to get it done now because I can see the comments coming in already. But no, listen, it's always a big game when Tottenham come to town. In terms of how it's gone down in the last few years, I mean, no win in 10 years, I think, for Tottenham, or around the 2011-12
Thanks for reminding us, Alex. Listen,
I'm gonna hit you with the facts. The facts are it's always difficult.
We don't like facts over here at Tottenham.
We like delusional dreams.
Listen, I'm from the school of Rafa Benitez, where we talk about the facts. So difficult game as always. I mean, it's always been close. I can't really remember the last time we pummeled you at Anfield, but maybe it's slightly arrogant coming from our side, but whoever comes to Anfield, we expect to win. But having said that, Tottenham, a dangerous team to play right now. I mean, Kulusevski's impressed me so much. Bentancur has as well. It's just the inconsistency for Tottenham that's just been consistent, really. So
that's been for about 20 years, Alex.
Around that time,
yeah. Look, for some reason, whenever we go to Anfield, there's some sort of curse on us that we usually play well. We usually get a goal up or so. We usually miss a massive chance, like a one-on-one or like an open goal or something. Yeah. Lucas Moura,
Sissoko, Sonny,
I remember exactly. I remember when Sissoko went through on goal, he blazed over the bar, and then what happens is we screw our chances, and you somehow get a winner in the last minute. It happens every single time. And is that something you, as Liverpool fans, you've noticed as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just Tottenham. It happens a lot. But I think you make your own luck. And I think you guys would agree that as well. If it was you that was going for the title every year, you'd be getting certain rubs of the green, as it were. That Sissoko one was unbelievable because he's clear on goal. And Van Dijk jockeys him so he's on his left. And he almost says, listen, I'm not even going to come near you. I'm going to jockey you so you can't get on your right. but go on, have a shot. Let's see what you do. And it goes over the bar. And I think there was an own goal in that game, and it trickles over the line.
Yeah.
So, Liverpool, really Tottenham's bogey team. And it seems like whenever we play you at Anfield, like I said, it's close as anything, but there's always something that happens, whether that be an injury or a last-minute winner. I mean, I was at the game where we drew 2-2, and you guys got a massive, fortunate decision to get that penalty at the end after, and the ref just looked over to his line and went, "I'm going to give the penalty." Do you remember that?
I remember.
So,
You heard the conversation on the touchline, yeah. He's like, I don't know what happened, but I'm going to give the penalty.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So, listen, there's been times when Spurs have got the rub of the green as well, and obviously our friendly rivalry kind of came to a peak in 2019. And do you know what? Through being in Madrid, through having all my family in Madrid, not one person had a bad word to say about the Spurs fans. It was a beautiful final, and well, it wasn't a beautiful final. Maybe it was for us, but it wasn't for the neutral. But no, good words that were said about Tottenham in terms of having.
Alex, for our peace of mind, you can admit it wasn't a handball against Ahsoka, right?
Well, the ref gave it though, didn't he?
No, you can admit. You can admit
the ref gave that penalty at Anfield as well. Don't you forget?
Not the same ref.
Give us some catharsis as Tottenham fans. Just admit
I don't
for
think
us
I
it
can
wasn't a
ever admit
handball.
it, boys. I don't think I ever can. I mean,
Unbelievable.
where it hits him is it the new rule that's come in is the t-shirt ruling, right?
That wouldn't be a handball in today's
So it wouldn't
game.
be a handball.
Correct, yeah.
Listen, if there was VAR, England wouldn't have won the World Cup. You can go back and back and back. It is what it is, boys. What can I say? Like,
look, obviously, we're still very bitter about it till today.
We're not getting to 3 Champions League finals in 5 years, all right? Give us a break.
But look, Alex, coming into the game, obviously, you had quite a taxing game against Villarreal in midweek in the Champions League. Unbelievable performance in that second half. Are you expecting a similar team, or do you think anyone will be rested or dropped or anything like that?
Well, I actually don't see Henderson starting this one, and I've been the person pretty much in the last 5-6 years that says Henderson starts every game without question. But for this game, my midfield would be Keita, Thiago, and Fabinho, only because I think you rest Henderson or bring him on in that game, but you rest to start him for the FA Cup final next week, and we've obviously got Aston Villa on Tuesday, so I think you keep him fresh for that. But I can see a couple of changes. The thing is with Liverpool, and I was chatting to my dad earlier. I was on Sky Sports News this morning talking about West Ham's small squad and how it's made them kind of run out of steam. And I said if they had 2 or 3 more players, they would. And unfortunately, again, sound arrogant, sound whatever, but fortunately, because we boosted our squad in January and with Conte, our second string team now can pretty much have a go, if not beat anyone. Genuinely, it's that good. So yes, I can see changes. I can see Conte coming in. I would even maybe give Tsimikas a go. I could see Keita coming in. Diaz will start. Can't see Mane and Salah starting this one. Bobby Firmino is back in training. And the one thing that I've learned through watching Liverpool under the Klopp era is that he does change the team a lot. There is rarely a time where he keeps the same 11 for 2 games in a row. So changes will happen, but will it affect the outcome? Who knows?
If you cast your mind back to the game, I think it was in November time, one of Conte's early games, that obviously finished 2-2 on the day. But was that, do you think, an example of how you could potentially create a numerous amount of chances against a Jurgen Klopp team? And is that kind of performance you're worried about, knowing that Conte has done that already? And obviously we beat Man City at the Etihad early in the season as well. So we have form. Exactly, we have form for putting big performances against big sides already this season. So does that worry you a bit?
Yeah, it does. And that's why, again, I know us come on here and say this and that, but it will be a difficult game. It really will. It's never an easy game against Tottenham. I can't remember one. Maybe apart from that 5-0 at White Hart Lane, but that was a one-off, to be honest. You mentioned and the old red card for, what was his name? Paulinho kicking Suarez in the chest.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But no, as you mentioned there, I think those big performances that Tottenham have had away from home, especially the Etihad, are impressive. And there's nothing really to say that Tottenham won't come to Anfield and put in a really impressive performance. But with Tottenham, it's always, you can do that, but where's the result at the end of it? 6 times out of 10 with Spurs, you might get, the fortunate result for you guys, but that other 4 out of 10 worries me in terms of a Tottenham perspective where, yes, you have real big moments in the game where you score 2 goals against us, you create a lot of chances, but you have to take them against Liverpool. And if Tottenham can do that with the prolific strikers, the killers that I call them up front, then we're in big trouble. Really are. Because if Kane turns up, if Kulusevski turns up, if Sonny turns up, I mean, Sonny scored a great goal at Anfield last season. And actually, Sonny, for me, I've been saying it since Hazard was in the league as well. If there's one player that I take from Tottenham, it's Sonny. I actually love this player. I think he's unbelievable as a person, as a player, everything. And I actually think he'd love to come to Liverpool one day too. But no, listen, dangerous players all over the pitch for Spurs. It's just, can you take the chances at Anfield with fans in, by the way, because there was no fans last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because last year, you know, I think we showed the kind of blueprint, maybe how to play at Anfield. Steven Bergwijn missing a host of chances
What a chance he missed
in the last game. I mean, surely if we take our chances this game, we've got a massive chance of taking all 3 points. And if we do take all 3 points, do you think that kisses your title chances goodbye?
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah, if you do come to Anfield and win, everyone's going to write off Liverpool. The annoying thing would be if you won and City drew or something like that, which would just shoot ourselves in the foot. And again, it doesn't surprise me that Tottenham get these big results. Look at the players that you've got on paper; these are excellent players. I know a lot of Spurs fans don't like the look of Emerson Royale, but again, played for Barcelona. Real Betis was excellent there. So the individuals are there for Tottenham. It's just, can you take your chances? And to be honest with you, we haven't lost at home with fans in the stadium for 5 years now.
I'm holding on to the law of averages, my friend. Surely something's got to come through for us once. You know what I mean?
Maybe next year, maybe the year after.
So last season doesn't count, I'm guessing.
Okay.
All right,
Are we doing that?
Also, an interesting point as well is a tale of 2 signings, because we obviously were going for Luis Diaz in January. Looked like we'd agreed a deal until Liverpool pipped us at the post. We went and got Kulusevski, who's kind of been a bit of a revelation for us anyway. But obviously, tell us about the impact Luis Diaz has had on Liverpool and how good a player he is.
Oh, he's an unbelievable player, boys. And if I was Tottenham, I'd be absolutely fuming that he'd never signed that contract. Apparently, you had the contract signed. You had the contract drafted, and then you sent that contract to Bentancur, and it had Luis Diaz's name on it. So he was like, "Hang on, what?" I'm not too sure about that.
From what I heard is that that Spurs and Benfica, I think, done the deal. Was it Benfica? Porto, sorry. Yeah. Porto done the deal, right? And then their agents knew Liverpool were interested in for quite a while, and then they put all that out to the press, and then Liverpool came and swooped in.
It was a nasty kind of savage hijacking of the deal, wasn't it? Because if you're Liverpool and you see someone, let's not forget, we've been scouting this guy for 2 seasons now.
Yeah.
If we hear the guy that we really want is about to go to Tottenham, then all of our plans about let's wait till the summer and buy him then, they all go out the window. And then you think, well, hang on, if Tottenham are going to buy him now, then we have to play our cards, put our cards on the table and let him know that we want him, and we want him now instead of the summer. That move, maybe, by Tottenham not signing him, could potentially allow us. I mean, he scored semi-final, he man of the match in the League Cup final. He'll definitely play in the Champions League final. That move alone could have actually won us more trophies. So Tottenham, thank you.
Well, we could argue
you're not very welcome.
Well, Alex, I could argue very much thank you, because in 11 starts for Kulusevski, he's got 8 assists and 3 goals. And he's actually got more goal contributions so far than Diaz has since both of them have come to the league.
So if you're looking at it on paper, which is the better January signing, it's a very strong debate. Kulusevski, I have to say, I've been so impressed. He doesn't look like he should play Premier League football, if I'm honest. I don't know what he looks like. I can't put my finger on the profession that he looks like he should have, but it's definitely not a wing forward for Tottenham. Trust me, this guy looks all over the gaff. But when he got a ball at his feet, he looks very impressive. So, you could easily say, well, thank you, because we got him instead. So, yeah, it's a head-to-head on who's been the better January signing. Obviously, I'm going to say Diaz. But again, time will tell, won't it?
It's very interesting if you look at the trajectories of both clubs, of Liverpool and Spurs, because obviously Liverpool were very similar to where Tottenham were maybe a few years ago, where you had obviously lost the Champions League final, you were going very close for league titles, just missing out. Very similar to us, obviously. We were losing in finals as well in Champions League. We also went on very close to getting a couple of titles, just missing out. But whereas Liverpool kicked on, we kind of stagnated and faltered and went the other direction. But from a Liverpool perspective, where do you think you've got it right, whereas we didn't? What do you think we had to do, which you did?
I don't think you can just do what we did. It takes 3 to 4 to 5 years to build up to a moment like this. And what we've seen from Liverpool and City since, I would say, 2018. You know the game we lost against you guys, 4-1 at Wembley, right?
Yeah.
Genuinely, since that game, everything changed. Every single thing about the club changed. Deadwood was got rid of. The unity between the manager, the fans and the players is something I've never, ever seen before with any team, man. And once you've got all those three main pillars of the club singing off the same hymn sheet, things become really impossible for other teams to beat us. I mean, I've never seen in my life such a well-oiled club in terms of recruitment. And again, listen, I've gone through years. I've just seen a post there. 10 years ago today, we lost 1-0 at home to Fulham. We finished 8th. Donny in goal. Maxi Rodriguez, that is. Carroll and Kite up front. Now, I love Dirk Kite, but look how far we've come in the last 10 years. And obviously since Klopp, I would say again, that game at Tottenham changed everything for Liverpool. And the recruitment obviously has been sensational. We haven't missed when it comes to not only just signing the players, it's the guys in the back rooms that are signing these players for us. They're the best at what they do. So the recruitment combined with the fact that everyone loves the club, there's such an amazing feeling going on, and the fact that we're very good. I mean, all those three mixed in together, and you're looking at an unstoppable force. And that's what we feel like we are at the minute.
Yeah, and I think that's the main thing, isn't it? Because I think that when I'm looking at Liverpool's recruitment policy, I mean, literally the best recruitment policy I've ever seen, because you're the only club I've ever seen that don't make mistakes in the transfer window.
Especially when they're getting big money.
We used to.
Yeah, you definitely used to. Yeah, you did. But now it's just crazy.
For the money that we get them for as well, boys.
Yeah.
You know, we're not exactly breaking the bank to sign the Jotas, the Konates, the Diazes, the Thiagos. And these aren't, maybe with the exception of Thiago, who I'd actually say is the biggest signing we've ever made in our history in terms of buying a player who's already achieved it all in the game. We've never bought a superstar ready-made. We buy the Salahs, the Manes, the Firminos and build them up, the Coutinhos. But when we bought Thiago, we've just signed someone who's man of the match in the Champions League a few months before, won it with Bayern, won every league to win in Spain and Germany. So when you buy someone like him, that really sets down the marker that we don't miss with signings, and you've seen it so many times, man.
Yeah. Whereas we definitely do.
Yes.
You find
that's been a big problem
frustrating
for
with
us.
Tottenham. It's frustrating because I see you buy players like
You're a Liverpool
Bergwijn.
fan, you're telling me.
Well, no, but as a footballing person, right, when I see Tottenham put some big money next to these signings, you almost feel like, actually, they might have got a few of these right. And then 6 months down the line, the Brian Gills, the Bergwijns, they've all kind of gone. And then you kind of re-up and you go again. And it seems like this fresh batch that you've got is Bentancur, Kulusevski and Romero, by the way, border. Yeah. These three, you've hit the jackpot with these three. So this is probably the first time in a couple of years where I've actually thought that Tottenham's recruitment has been bang on, and the manager as well. What an achievement to get him in. But yeah,
let's just hope he stays. Let's just hope he stays.
Yeah. But having said that about Tottenham's like kind of new recruitment policy under Fabio Paratici, how do you assess kind of how Tottenham have been this season, and how far do you think Tottenham can go if we carry on this kind of recruitment in the way that we're doing it with Antonio Conte?
Well, listen, to do well, you've got to have a good team and a great manager. You've got both of them. So there's no reason why Tottenham can't really take this and really challenge. I mean, where do you think is realistic? Should you be finishing third with this team and this manager? Let's assume that you carry on playing well. Let's say you get the Champions League. Where do you think? I mean, it's easy for me to say. I think Tottenham are still obviously a while off of us and City, so that would put you in third place.
Yeah.
But where's realistic for you?
That's the thing. Yeah, third is probably the place where you're saying we're not that delusional to aim for it. But Conte doesn't fight for third. You know, that's not what he wants. He wants the title. That's what he wants, trophies. That's what he's had his whole career. That's what he keeps banging on about ever since he's joined Tottenham. He said, "Look, this season top four will be like a trophy, but I'm not here to be top four. I'm not here to be runner up. I'm
And
here
you've
to
got
win."
respect that.
And but whether he'll have the patience to get us to that level is another question, because he's a notoriously impatient guy, and that's the
He is.
question.
And you've only given him a short contract, so to even get to the next stage of the next great recruitment, the next big points tally, you need to sign him up. Forget signing anyone else up. I mean, Conte now,
It's true.
he has actually, I think, been giving everything he needs to give this league and next season a real big shot. So yeah, unless you can really convince him, tie him down to a new deal that's a little bit more ambitious, maybe a three-year deal, a fresh 3-year deal would work. If he can't do anything at the end of that, then obviously you part ways. But I do think if you get this summer is so crucial for Tottenham. You have to get top four, and you have to bring in the right players. If you don't, Conte's gone, and the whole plan that you built up for the last 6 months is all over, and it's square one again.
Yeah.
So the next few months, man, is so crucial for Tottenham.
Alex, as a Liverpool fan, looking at Tottenham versus Arsenal, who do you think's in a better position right now?
I'd hate to
As
say
a-
it, boys.
as a
I'm on the
club.
wrong channel here. I think it's Arsenal.
Wow.
You know my ties with Mr. DR, so no, I'm only joking.
Oh, I see. He's slipped you
He's
something.
got me on the
See,
paper.
we've got enemies infiltrating. I see.
Alex checks his
No,
bank,
listen,
money
listen.
received.
I would say it's still Arsenal, but that's not to say that Arsenal can't Arsenal it up still, and Tottenham could Tottenham it up still. I can't call it. I reckon it's genuinely 51% Arsenal getting it, 49 to you, because anything can happen in these last 3 or 4 games. If Tottenham get it, won't be surprised. If Arsenal get it, won't be surprised, because they're both big clubs and they should both be in the Champions League, really. But someone has to miss out. So if you're asking me to put my hat down now on a team, I reckon it would be Arsenal. But prove me wrong, boys. It's up to you.
We will prove you wrong, Alex. We're going to prove you wrong. Don't you worry about
Not tomorrow.
that.
Don't prove me wrong tomorrow.
If we do get a result this weekend, does that change your opinion then?
Oh, that's a question. I mean, if you get a result this weekend, the last thing I'll be caring about is the race for the top 4, to be honest with you, boys. If you get let's say you win at Anfield, let's say Arsenal lose, then I would say you're in pole position, but then you've got to play Arsenal.
Yeah.
And that's normally a draw.
No, usually what happens is we beat them at home and they beat us to the Emirates. So usually
Where
if
is
they're
it?
coming
The
to our...
Emirates?
No, it's our place. So...
Oh, yeah. If you beat them and us, then, yeah, you're nailed on. And if you don't get it, shame on you if you don't get it after those 2 wins.
Absolutely.
You really have to look at yourself.
Absolutely. But just before we get into the predictions, I want to talk about BetMate, obviously a fantasy football gaming app. You can win money this week for the Liverpool v Tottenham League. It's a £5 entry, a minimum payout of £500, where the top 7 players do get paid out. Really enjoying playing this game over the last week.
Definitely
Sim
enjoying.
has won a nice £200 on which game was it?
On the Madrid Man City game.
200 quid you won,
I won
yeah?
200 quid off the Madrid Man City. I finished top. Unbelievable.
You know what?
What a team.
I'm very good at prediction/fantasy things, but I was really disappointed. Last week, we're sponsored by BetMate as well in the COP TV. And because I lost in the fantasy league to Matty Renton, who's obviously a Newcastle fan, I actually have to wear a Newcastle shirt in the next video. So I've got to go and get that.
At least it's not an Everton or a Man United shirt.
No, I've said to the BetMate guys, if you ever dare of trying to put me up against a Chelsea fan and wearing a Chelsea's the one for me, boys. I don't know about you. Chelsea is the one for me that I hate the most. And that goes ahead of United and Everton, by the way.
That's mad, but I would never wear, under any circumstances, Arsenal, Chelsea, or West Ham. I mean, it's those 3
Newcastle's
clubs.
quite inoffensive, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. They might not be in a few
maybe
years,
not.
though.
Yeah,
They
maybe
were.
not, quite literally. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one, man. BetMate's a great app, though, I have to say. I lost on it last week, but we'll probably go through my team now. I'm quite confident. And I've got reasons as well. So let's
All
go.
right, we'll get through the teams, but obviously if you want to join the league or download the app, the link is in the description below, so do go and check that out. But let's bring on Alex's team first. Let's check out Alex's team and go on, let's bring that up.
So how it works is you choose 7 players, a goalkeeper, 2 defenders, 2 midfielders and 2 strikers, and you get double points for your captain, 1.5 points for your vice captain, and it's a different scoring system because you get points for tackles and your interceptions as well as goals and assists. But let's see your team. Alisson in goal, Romero, Alexander-Arnold, Thiago, Keita, Salah captain, and Son. So you've gone for Son, so you are worried about Son.
Son at vice captain as well. I love that.
So do you want to hear my tactics and my reasonings, right?
Yes,
so Alisson
please.
in goal, obviously, it's just ridiculous to suggest anything else.
Yeah.
10 clean sheets in his last 11. Joke. Right, so what I'm trying to be a bit clever about this. So obviously I lost in the mini league last week. We won the game, which is obviously the most important thing, but I lost this. So how I'm going to change it this week is by protecting myself. The good thing about BetMate is you get points for tackles and interceptions, right?
Yeah.
So when I thought of that, I thought, well, if we get points for tackles and interceptions, there might as well be a Spurs player in there because Liverpool at home, you can assume that we're going to attack more. You guys will have to defend more tackles and interceptions. So let me put Romero in. Beast, yeah? I know he tried something funny in the last Liverpool game that we played you, but I've forgiven him for that. I think he did something. I can't remember. He stamped on someone or did something.
He's a pure shithouse, Romero. He's a pure shithouse.
Yeah, but I like that. That's cool with me. I'm like that when I play, so that's fine. So I've got him in there. I've got Trent in there purely because in fantasy football, you'd be silly to pick a defender that doesn't get assists/goals. And Trent versus who will be on your left wing?
Sonny probably.
So that's a good battle. So again, there could be a lot of tackles and interceptions there for Trent. In the midfield, like I alluded to earlier, I don't think Henderson starts this one, and his general replacement has been Keita, who, let's not forget, scores the winner last weekend against Newcastle to keep us in the title race. Has a great game midweek as well. So Keita goes in on merit. Thiago goes in because the man tackles, the man headers, the man runs box to box. He floats balls over, he pings balls in, he's just genuinely the best footballer technically in Liverpool's team, Thiago Alcantara, without question.
Wow.
So again, here's me protecting myself by thinking Spurs normally do get a goal at Anfield. They don't win the game, but they normally get a goal. And I think Sonny is probably the most likely to score that goal. I can't see Kane running in behind. I can't see Kulusevski massively running in behind, but Son runs in behind. Normally through balls by Kane. So if Sonny scores and we win the game, I won't be too upset because 1, he's my vice captain, and 2, I do think he might have a goal involvement. So Sonny, vice captain today, and obviously your PFA Football Writers Association Player of the Year, Mohamed Salah, also gets in there as well as captain. So that's my team, boys.
And he loves the goal against Spurs, doesn't he?
And he loves the goal against Spurs, and every single player on the bench is Spurs. So
yeah. All right, let's see how we picked our teams, and we'll give you our reasonings behind what we chose. Let's go for Sims first, and then
all right, first.
Go on, you can do your explanation.
Obviously, this comes from the experience of already having won a bet, finishing first, £200. So this is an expert talking
from the
here
horse's
now.
mouth.
From the horse's mouth. I've gone for bring on my team. I've got Hugo Lloris in goal because he makes a lot of saves. I did this with Madrid as well because Courtois made about 6 or 7 saves, and you get 1 point for each save they make. Yeah. So if Liverpool aren't going to keep a clean sheet, you might be better off getting Lloris in goal. Romero obviously makes a lot of tackles. Trent Alexander-Arnold is very good for a goal or an assist and stuff like that. I've got Kulusevski, who's going to play as a forward, and he's in midfield, so could get extra forward points there. And he's quite a tough tackling forward player, likes to press. Obviously, Thiago makes more tackles than you would think, so he could be one and could bring an assist. And I've gone for I went for Romero. I'm going to change that. I think I'm going to go for Mane vice captain. I think I'm going Romero vice, but Son captain because I think he's going to be the one getting most of our chances. And for me, I think Mane is Liverpool's most informed forward right now, and he could be playing in a central role because Diaz on the left, Salah on the right. You could be playing Mane in a false 9, and that could bring him up in the goals. I think he's playing very well, and he's really adapted to that central role really well. So I've got Mane up front for me. So that's my team.
All right. Well, that is Sim's team. What do you think about that, Alex? What do you reckon about that team?
Obviously Tottenham heavy, isn't it? But you'd expect that from We Are Tottenham TV. No, I like your point about Mane. The beautiful thing about any forward player that plays for Liverpool is you know that they can play across the three there. You often see Diaz starting on the wide left, making a run really central. You often see Salah coming inside. So anyone can play across that front three. Don't forget, although Mane probably will play, Jota can easily play there, and so can Bobby, who really has had that role himself for the last few years. So it's a good team. Whether it wins is another story.
Well, the real winner is going to come up next. This is my team.
Football's always the winner, though, isn't it?
100%. But bring up my team. I've gone for Alisson in goal. So I think that actually my brother's point on Hugo Lloris could be warranted because he can make a tackle or two rushing out from goal as well, which we'll get a few points from. I don't think either. No, you don't want to see that, but I don't think either quick goalkeeper is going to make a clean sheet this game. I think it will be both teams to score. But anyway, I've gone for Alisson just for argument's sake. Romero, I think that's been covered pretty much by all of us. We've all got him in his team. I've gone for Robertson instead of Trent just because I think Robertson is more likely to make the interceptions and the tackles and stuff like that. So I think he'll be getting more points in that sense. I got Kulusevski in the midfield as vice-captain. Obviously a midfielder on the game, but he'll be playing up front for Spurs on the right-hand side. Højbjerg I've gone for in the middle, which is an interesting one because he always makes a host of interceptions, a host of tackles, and I think his work is definitely going to be cut out for him in this game, that's for sure. So I think he can grab himself a number of points, and he's getting an average of 7 points a game in this Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. So I think he's definitely a good pick there. And then up front, I've gone for Mo Salah, who obviously loves a goal against Tottenham, and Heung-min Son as my captain, who's going to have a lot of space in behind to hurt Liverpool. And I think he's probably going to be our biggest weapon to really hurt you on the day. So, that's my team. That's my team. What do you reckon about that?
I think the point you make on Højbjerg is really important. And this is why BetMate is different from other companies, because you're getting... I think when people think of fantasy football, you think of, right, get the strikers in as many points as possible. But this one's a bit different. You're actually rewarded sometimes for the more defensive players that you have in the team. And there's other ways to pick points up in this. So, I quite like that. I think it's sensible. I do. Yeah.
All right, big up. So just before we let you go, Alex, let's get our predictions in. Let's start off with you, Alex. What is your prediction for the game?
Tough. Listen, Liverpool score goals. So it's 2 or 3 for Liverpool, if I'm honest. But it's definitely 1 for Tottenham, at least 1. If you look at Villarreal, managed to score 2 against us the other night, and their attacking threat was really not something I was worried about. But after half an hour, I'm thinking, oh my Christ, what's about to happen here? So Villarreal scored 2 against us, which is quite ironic actually, because like I said, the last 10 league games, we haven't conceded a goal. But if there's one team, and again, this is a compliment to Tottenham, if there's one team that can score against us at Anfield, it's Tottenham. And I expect you to give us way more problems than United did at home. I expect you to give us way more problems than Arsenal did at home. Way more problems than Chelsea even did at home at Anfield. So if you look at the top 4 teams, I'm saying that Tottenham have a better chance of scoring than United, Arsenal, Chelsea, and maybe even City, to be honest with you, at Anfield. So that's a big compliment to you, and I do think you'll score. But again, I'm going to go with 2 to 3-1.
2 to 3-1. All right, Sim, what you going for?
3-1. Why not?
I think we both teams are desperate for a win. Should make for a really open and exciting game. I think there'll be chances at both ends. I think we will get chances and we will get a goal or two. I don't see us keeping Liverpool out the way they're playing on the team they are. So I think it's going to be one of my heart's saying like we're going to somehow snatch a victory, but I think it'll be a 2-2 draw. I think Liverpool are too strong to keep him out. But I think the way they played, Liverpool don't change for anyone. And that will suit us because it means we'll have space to play with. So I do think we'll get chances, but we're not going to be able to keep him out. So I'm going 2-2.
Yeah, I'm going... Look, I'm here. The game's tomorrow. We're travelling up to Anfield tomorrow, so I have to stay confident and try and stay positive. I know this is one of our most difficult games of the season, but I'm actually going to go 3-2 to Spurs on this one. I know We have to get a win at Anfield for the first time in a long time. I think we've only won 3 times there in the whole Premier League era. So
You know the years? Can you name all the years?
I know
think
one of them is 2011.
2011, I think 98,
Van der Vaart.
98 and
90,
93, I think.
Ooh, okay.
I think 93, but I'm not too sure about that one.
Carlo Cudicini was in goal last time we played. We won.
Yeah, Van der Vaart. And anyway, but I'm going for 3-2. I think that Klopp said it, didn't he, after the Villarreal game? He said, Liverpool need a win. Spurs are a very good counter-attacking side, and sometimes that is not a good mix. So I'm just clinging on to that fact, and I think we will get our chances. And it's just a matter of a fact if we take our chances. If we take our chances, I think we can get a positive result. But history does tell you that we don't take our chances at Anfield. But this year will be different, like I say every year. But
Fair enough.
I'm going for 3-2. My brother's going for 2-2. Alex is going for either 2-1 or 3-1. Let me know your score predictions in the comments section below. But Alex, thank you so much for coming on today. It's been great chatting to you about the game and Spurs Liverpool in general. And we'll see you soon.
Nice one,
See you,
Alex.
man.
That's
Big
right.
up,
Obviously, go
Alex.
check out the COP TV for all the great Liverpool content. Obviously, hopefully, some upset Liverpool fans after a Spurs victory tomorrow, but we'll have to wait and see. But go check out the COP TV. Great stuff they got going on there. But all right, let's get into the match. But first of all, before we get into match preview, a bit of breaking news from Matt Law. He claims to have an exclusive. And he says Graham Potter is emerging as a favourite to replace Antonio Conte at Tottenham if Conte is to go at the end of the season.
I hate
but
all
it's
this talk.
understood that Graham Potter would cost in excess of £10 million if Tottenham were to get him.
I hate all this talk. I mean, why is the press like breaking Spurs manager news when we've got a manager? It's just so annoying.
Exclusive. If Conte is to leave at the end of the season, he's claiming Graham Potter would be a favourite.
So another shift in philosophy.
Well, that would definitely be a shift in philosophy. But I guess, he likes to play 3 at the back, doesn't he, Graham? So maybe
But,
that would be the thinking
it's like
behind
it keeps shifting in philosophy. I mean, I think it's a step backwards, obviously, getting Graham Potter
obviously,
in when
yeah.
we've got Antonio Conte. So
There isn't
too happy
anywhere
about
but
that.
backwards without Conte.
Yeah.
According to Matt Law, Conte wants to make between 6 and 8 signings in the summer.
Yeah, that's probably what's scaring Daniel Levy.
So you're
But if
saying
Potter comes,
Potter-
surely he's going to want a lot of signings as well.
Maybe not, wouldn't be as
Probably
demanding
not as
Conte.
many, yeah, not as many. And he'll you know what it is that Potter will come in and he'll need a year to assess the squad and be like, we don't need to sign that many
Yeah.
players this summer. That's what's going to happen, isn't
let's
it?
just hope
So it's
Conte
just
stays.
frustrating, so frustrating. But anyway, do go download the BetMate app and come and join us and take us on that fantasy game this weekend. Very good game. Sim has already won quite a bit of money on there. And I actually did quite well last night, just one space away from the money. And I won £7.50 last week as well.
That's right.
So, yeah. Look, let's get into the match preview now. Liverpool against Tottenham at Anfield. A very difficult game, obviously. How do you rate our chances coming into this one?
Look, our chances are obviously slim, considering how good Liverpool are. If because their pressing system is so intense, and we've had a bit of trouble playing our way out from the back before, and also our recent record against Liverpool is very, very weak. So from that point of view, obviously our chances are slim. But if you actually look at it from a point of view of how Liverpool play and how we play, and how we've shown to play against these kind of teams previously, you have to say that we actually do have we actually have a better chance than maybe people give us credit for. I think we know how to create chances against a high line. We have one of the best players who are up against a high line in Heung-min Son, and I think that from that point of view, we have Kane as well, who's one of the best players to put a through ball in behind. So you have to say we have definitely going to have opportunities to get goals, but it's going to be very, very difficult to make sure we're concentrating on our game. We're making sure we're resolute. We're making sure we're compact, and it's going to be very, very difficult to keep Liverpool out because they're front three once they're in full flow. And as well, you've got to remember the game in November. They didn't have Fabinho, they didn't have Thiago, they didn't have Van Dijk, and that's going to improve them a lot.
We didn't have Kulusevski, we didn't have
No, we didn't.
Højbjerg, we didn't have a lot of players as well.
No, we didn't. But it's going to be a lot harder for us to create chances with them three in the team.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be a lot harder because as well, when they kind of were when we were in a low block and we were being compact, they didn't have Thiago playing those passes to break us down, and they're going to have them now. However, you're right. We're now going to have Bentancur, Romero, Kulusevski, all in the team.
Højbjerg wasn't even playing in the last game.
Højbjerg as well. Yeah, he wasn't playing. So that's also going to give us more aggression. It's going to give us more ability to win the ball back, and it's going to give us a bit more creativity when we go forward. So on the flip side, we also are definitely improved. So it makes this game fascinating.
Absolutely. When you look at the last 5 games between the clubs, what is it about this fixture? Because we always seem to get such bad luck against Liverpool. 2-2 earlier on this season. We were the better side. We should have won that game. Last year, 3-1 against Liverpool. The year before, 2-1 against Liverpool. Then 1-0 against Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium when Lo Celso missed that crazy chance. I mean, every single one of these games, we have missed some gilt-edged chances, haven't we?
Massive. Son's rounded the keeper, hitting the crossbar. Bergwijn's had 2 1-on-1s missing. You had the Sissoko chance where he blazed it over the bar. He had, not to mention, we probably had enough chances in that game in November to win 3 games, let alone 1. That was quite incredible how he missed those chances.
That time last year, Robertson should have got sent off and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was when the Celso
always go against us, against Liverpool.
Robertson even did get sent off, didn't he, last time?
Yeah, he did last time.
In the late in the game, but it was amazing, absolutely amazing the chances we missed. Back in November, Dele Alli, Son, Kane, all missing unbelievable chances.
And it's like when you're looking at the Premier League, right, over the past 2 years, we've been the most clinical side in the Premier League.
Just not against
Liverpool. When we come against Liverpool, we're like the most unclinical side in the Premier League.
I actually think when we play against Liverpool, we usually give them more trouble than a lot of other teams.
Agreed, yeah.
We actually usually play very well against them. And it also seems as well that Liverpool don't seem to have that many chances against us, but they're clinical. And whereas we usually have a lot of chances, but we usually mess them up. And that's usually how it goes. We actually usually defend quite well and create chances when we can, and we're just not clinical when we take them. So we're going to have to reverse that. But we've shown early in the season when we played City that we can put in those kind of performances, and hopefully we can do the same against Liverpool, because it's going to be a massive opportunity to make sure we go into the North London derby in touching distance of Arsenal.
We'll bring up the form of the last 5 games from Liverpool and Spurs. Obviously, Liverpool just on sensational form. There's no doubt about it. We're going into the Lions Den this weekend. Against a Liverpool team at this stage of the season, going for the quadruple, really. If they win this weekend and Liverpool and Man City drop points, they know that they turn into favourites for this title. So how do you assess Liverpool? I mean, they've just been unbelievable this season, haven't they? Is this the best Liverpool team under Klopp?
This season?
Yeah.
You got to say, in terms of going for all the trophies, yeah. I mean, they've had better league campaigns, and with the league when they won the league. And when the season when they finished second to City, I think they're probably going to finish on those 2 seasons with more points they'll finish on this season. But on those seasons, I guess that season when they finished second to City, they did win the Champions League, but they didn't win the domestic cups. But now they got the domestic cups as well, and they've got the depth which they didn't have before. With Diaz and Jota there, which beforehand they were very much relying on Firmino, Salah, Mane. Now they've got depth there. With Thiago coming in, they've got depth in the middle, which they didn't have before. So I think in terms of squad wise, they're the strongest. I don't think in terms of football they're playing the best football they've ever played under Klopp, but I think they definitely have the strongest squad that they've had under Klopp, and it's given them even more consistency than they've had over other competitions they did before. Because before, I think this is the first season that they've been past the 4th round of the FA Cup or something. He's had an awful record in the FA Cup, Klopp, for Liverpool. So the fact they've got the domestic cups now, and they've added that with still competing in the league and in the final of the Champions League is just means that it's probably the best squad they've had.
But if they do go on to win the quadruple, I know it's a big if, but if they do,
it's not even that unlikely.
I mean, yeah, you need Man City to drop points from now to the end of the season, and they need to be perfect. kind of from now to the end of the season.
I mean, as quadruples go, it's the most likely quadruple.
Oh, of course, yeah, of course. At this stage of the season, I don't think anyone's been as close as winning the quadruple as they have.
Never, ever.
But if they do win the quadruple, you've got to say that this is probably the best Premier League team of all time.
Definitely, considering what they've won previously as well. I think you've got to say for sure. I mean, no, this is hands down. They'll be the best achievement of any Premier League team ever. There's no, I don't know how anyone could argue about that. If you win the quadruple, no one could say anything about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you win every trophy, that would
absolutely
be ridiculous.
If you bring up their kind of predicted lineup, I'm not sure if this will be their lineup, obviously, but bring it up. I got a feeling Trent will play, so I'm not sure if Gomez will be there at the right back. I'm not sure if that'll be their midfield as well, because got a feeling Thiago will play. Where do you think the players will line up on the pitch for Liverpool?
I think Matip comes back in for Konate. I think Robinson and Alexander-Arnold start on the wing backs, because I think it's such a tough game. They need their wing backs to be in full flight in this one to make sure they're pinning us back a bit. I don't think Milner starts. I think it'll be the three I'm predicting is Henderson, Thiago and Fabinho. That's what I think the midfield three would be, because in midweek it was Keita and it was Fabinho, and it was Keita, Fabinho, Thiago. Yeah. But I think maybe he'll put Henderson in. It's starting in this one. And then up front, I think Diaz came on at half-time, didn't he? So
Diaz plays, yeah.
So I think Diaz will start. I'm not sure if he'll be Salah or I think Firmino's back in training, so he is available, but I don't think he starts. I think Jota was hauled off at half-time last time, so I don't think he starts either. So I'm predicting Diaz on the left, Salah on the right, Mane down the centre.
And how the hell do we deal with that front line, with Diaz in there? And Diaz, with everything that happened in January, you just know he's going to score and have a great game.
He's going to have a great game. That's not, that's the least of our worries, you could argue, considering the other players they have. But it's going to be very, very difficult. We're going to have to...
Diaz against Emerson, by the way.
Yeah. But Emerson and Romero, you can put it like that. But we're going to have to make sure we restrict them as much space as possible. We're going to have to put the perfect performance. We're going to have Højbjerg and Bentancur putting out fires when need be. We're going to need to close down Thiago when he's getting too much space in the centre. We're going to have to think about Mane. We're going to have to think about Diaz. We're going to have to think about Salah. And we're going to have to think about the wing-backs as well. So Son and Kulusevski are going to have to do a lot of tracking back. They're going to have to do a lot of defensive work. And Son's going to have to be in a position when we do get the ball to make sure that we're counter-attacking and we're going forward. And we're making sure we're exploiting the space. Conte said in his pre-match press conference, it's all good and well and good being good off the ball, which we're going to need to be against this Liverpool side, but we have to be brave on the ball as well, and make sure that
against Man City.
Yeah, make sure when they press us, we're not scared of them pressing us. We're able to play around their press and work our way up the pitch and get forward. And you've got to remember against Man City, though, as much as we counter-attack them, those 3 goals we scored were all from us keeping possession. They weren't from us quickly countering on their attacks. It was actually 2 of them start from goal kicks. We played the ball, we played it around a bit, and we made sure we got the ball in behind in crucial positions. We're going to have to do the same again. We can't just rely on the fact that they're going to attack and then we win the ball and quickly get the ball forward, because a lot of the times when we do that, Son and Kulusevski aren't going to be in positions for us to exploit the space. The only chance we will be able to do that is when we actually have the ball in settled possession, and then we can get Son and Kulusevski up the pitch, and then when we do and play the ball around a bit, then we can get Son and in behind, because we know that Van Dijk and Matip are going to be on the halfway line. We know Trent and Robertson are going to be far up the pitch, so there's going to be space for us, but it's whether we can be in the position to exploit it.
Yeah, absolutely. Bring up the one to watch, or the ones to watch, shall I say. We've got Mo Salah, obviously, 22 goals, 13 assists in 32 appearances this season, which is monstrous stats. Mo Salah loves a goal against Spurs, obviously, as well. He hasn't been in the greatest form over the past month or so. What do you reckon has not been really clicking for him in the last month or so for Mo Salah? Or is it just he can't keep up that monstrous form that he's in all season?
Yeah, I think, first of all, his form early in the season was so good. I don't know if anyone can keep up that kind of form he was having early in the season for a whole season, unless you're literally Messi or Ronaldo, who've done it, consistently. I would say that I think other players have been stepping up a bit. I think that Mane, Diaz have been burdening more of the responsibility, which is more important. They share the goals around more than other teams, most of the other teams. Sorry. And I think that that's probably, and I think maybe the contract talks as well has had a bit of a toll. But other than that, I don't think he's playing terribly. I just think he couldn't keep up those standards.
And in terms of the other one to watch in Trent Alexander-Arnold, 2 goals, 12 assists. I mean, his crossing ability is completely elite, maybe the best in the Premier League. But what I would say about Trent is that there's definitely defensive flaws there that we can exploit, aren't there?
I wouldn't say flaws. Well, with Trent, I would say people say he's not a good defender because he's not an unbelievable defender. He's a good defender, but he's not a great defender. With Trent Alexander-Arnold, his biggest assets are obviously on the ball, crossing, getting forward. His ability to spray passes without even looking sometimes, cross-field passes and stuff like that. I would say his defensive ability is that of, I would say he's still like a, top 6 defender. I wouldn't say, he would, as if he was purely taking him defensively, I don't think he's a bad defender, but he can be got at. And especially when he gets caught out of position, there will be space for us to exploit down the left.
Chances against him.
You do, because he can definitely be caught out. But if Trent, I think, has become more disciplined of late. And I think his defensive issues, what people were talking about earlier in the season, have definitely ironed out a bit. And I think Klopp's definitely worked on him with that, because he's not getting caught out as much as he was. But I think it's purely more tactical than personnel. Why there are opportunities for us to exploit. Obviously, Gordon gave him a tough ride, didn't he, at Everton? But he ended up not being able to do much in the end, apart from a few runs. But if Gordon can do that to him, maybe Son can get a lot more joy.
I mean, Gordon was getting the beating of it time and time again, especially in that first half in the Merseyside derby. And I was watching that game, and that actually gave me more confidence going into this game than maybe I would have had previously. Maybe we should have a look at the tactics board and see how you think we can beat Liverpool in terms of on the pitch. So do you want to bring that up for us?
Yeah.
Go on.
All right, so we've got a little tactics thing going on here. I hope... sorry. I hope you can all see that. I hope it's not echoing or anything. So this is how I'm predicting both teams are going to line up. You got Spurs in their 3-4-3 formation here. And then you have to mute that as well if that's possible. And then you've got, I'm predicting Liverpool in this 4-3-3 formation, which they play. Is everything all right now?
Yeah, I think
no echoing. Let me know if it's all right, guys.
Did you send it all through again once you changed the audio? Yeah? It's all good? Yeah. Okay, yeah. All
right, so against Liverpool early in the season, the formation was more like... we had a 3-5-2, obviously, like this. Obviously, with different personnel. It was more like this. That was our formation early in the season. But now it's going to be a bit different. Now we got Kulusevski here. We got the 2 players here. And we got obviously Son more out wide than central. And we got Kulusevski there. So how I'm anticipating things are going to look when Liverpool do go forward is you've got the back three, Spurs back three tucked in a little bit more like here. You've got obviously, I think Emerson dropping back to deal with Diaz. You've got Sessegnon back. I remember Sessegnon was very much dealing with Salah last time out. It wasn't Davis's responsibility to deal with Salah. It was Sessegnon. He was dropping back and
he did a very good job.
And he did a very good job. Then you got obviously the two defensive midfielders. We had 3, remember, back in November. We're going to have 2 this time. You got Robertson, obviously, he's going to come forward, all the way forward. You got Trent on the other side, who's going to come all the way forward. So it's very important, that Son and Kulusevski are dealing with those 2, because if they're not, they're going to have too many overloads. And then you've got Van Dijk and Matip all the way pushing to the halfway line, with Fabinho probably sitting here. Now, remember, So probably Kane dropping here to deal with Fabinho. You've got to remember as well, back in November, they didn't have that Fabinho player. So it was very easy once Tottenham actually got the ball to play around into the centre mid with
They had
Ndombele.
Morton there, didn't they?
They had Morton there, so and Milner as well. So it was actually a lot easier for Tottenham to, once they did win the ball quickly, get it to Winks. That game was actually more counter-attacking than what we did against Man City. Because when we got that against Liverpool, it was definitely more get the ball, win the ball, get it to Winks on Ndombele or Dele, and then play an early ball in behind to Son on Kane, and we'll run him behind. So this one is very important.
And obviously, they didn't have Van Dijk that game either, did they?
They didn't have Van Dijk, so it's going to be much more difficult as well for Kane to when unlike against City, when we played the ball into him to make the ball stick and then get the runners in. Because against City, he had the strength to hold off players like Laporte and Diaz. But against Liverpool, is he going to have that ability to do that against Van Dijk and Fabinho? On the flip side, I think here, this situation is going to be very fruitful because I think Son, pace-wise, has the beating of Trent and Matip. I don't think Matip's the quickest centre-back. So I think if we do get early balls in behind to Son in that scenario, I do think there can be a lot of joy here. But we need Kulusevski to get involved as well, because if he doesn't, then you could all of a sudden start getting overloads in the centre. One crucial player is Thiago, who's going to be very much dictating the play here. Because this is how I see Liverpool in possession shaping up. So we actually look all right here because you've got Emerson or Romero dealing with Diaz. You've got Sessegnon and Davis dealing with Salah. And then you've got Dyer, Højbjerg and Bentancur dealing with Mane, Henderson and Thiago in the centre here. But it's whether the difficulty is whether Salah or Diaz are getting joy against Emerson. Then that causes Højbjerg or Bentancur to go over defensively to cover the space. If that happens, then you can see Fabinho and Thiago getting a lot more space in the centre. That's where the worry is. And obviously Kulusevski, they're gonna have to take the wing backs. It can't be Emerson's job to take the wing back because he's got enough on his plate. So that's where the problem is. If we get too far penned back, and Kane is the only one in our out ball, that could be a bit of a problem. And all of a sudden, we could end up being suffocated. But once we do get possession from a goal kick, unless Diaz and Salah are going to be defensively strong, what we could do is you're getting Son, obviously, in these spaces here, in between Trent and Matip. You got Kane occupying Van Dijk and Fabinho over here, and then you want Kulusevski occupying those spaces. So when we do play the ball through, hopefully there'll be opportunities. If Kane drops deep, the runners will be in behind that way, or in behind there. So hopefully we can find that space in behind left by Van Dijk and Matip, who like to obviously hold the very, very high line. The problem is Fabinho. Is he going to be man marking Kane? That's going to be a big issue, because if he is Kane going to have the ability to hold him off and then play the through balls? That's going to be a big issue. It's going to be a very big issue. And also, I think we do have a very big issue in the centre mid, because as difference between last game in November, we had the three, where we had the numbers to compete with them. This time, we're just going to have the double pivot of Højbjerg and Bentancur. They're going to have Fabinho here, and they're going to have Henderson, Thiago, or Keita
Against
outnumbering us.
in our last game against Leicester, I mean, Romero did such a great job stepping into midfield and creating that extra option and being that extra man in midfield. I mean, if he does this game, does that leave Emerson a bit too isolated with Diaz?
I would say so, because Diaz would definitely have the beating of him, and you need Romero here covering. Yeah, I don't think you can afford to have Diaz just one-on-one with Emerson. You need someone here covering.
So how do we combat that in midfield then? Is it going to be Harry Kane's job to basically just keep dropping deep, and being that extra man in midfield?
Yeah, I mean, I think, as you say, we're going to have to be brave. So, are you talking about in possession or out of possession?
Out of possession, sorry, defensively.
Yeah, I think we're going to... So, out of possession, we're going to need Højbjerg and Thiago and Bentancur quite deep, shielding the back three. And if we're in this kind of defensive formation, we're actually okay because we have, as long as we're not giving Thiago too much space, we have 2 players for Diaz, we have 2 players for Salah, and we have Højbjerg, Bentancur and Dyer dealing with Mane in the centre and Thiago. So as long as so that's 3 against 2. Obviously, you're probably allowing a lot of space for Henderson and Fabinho, and you're relying on Kulusevski and Son tracking the wing-backs all the way back. But in terms of their forward players, it should nullify them in that sense. But it's whether Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold can get the beating of Son and Kulusevski in that space.
But to be honest, in or out possession, it shouldn't really change Kane's position too much because we want Kane a bit more deeper this game to feed those balls into Son in behind.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And the problem is, if Kulusevski or Son do let one of them go, it should be either Sessegnon goes out to the wing back and then Bentancur tucks in, or Bentancur goes out and you're leaving space in the centre. Now, the thing, as I've said, the thing is in November, because we had 3 in the centre, it was what we did was we Sessegnon just stuck on Salah, and we had a centre mid go out because we knew we still had another 2 in there to defend the space in the centre. But now we don't. Now we only have 1 extra one. So that's that's going to be a bit difficult. On the flip side, but in November when we did win the ball, we only had Son and Kane up top, and now we have Kulusevski. So now we have a third option to hurt them. And that could provide a lot more opportunities when we are going forward, as opposed to just the 2 on Matip and Van Dijk. We now have Kulusevski, we have Son and Kane going forward. And that means we have more options to play with, and it could lead to more opportunities. So it's an interesting tactical battle going on in this one. But what we're going to have to do is restrict them the space, and we're going to have to make sure that we're very, very good on the ball, because if we're not, we're just going to get suffocated. And if we get suffocated, they're just going to make sure that it's going to be just like relentless pressure. And we're going to cave if we give them that. We have to make sure we're relieving the pressure when we can.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be a very interesting battle this weekend at Anfield. I mean, if we play a game like we did against Man City, like we did the first time we played Liverpool, there's all the chances there for us to take and get some results in this game and get some points in this game. But obviously, in the past, let's say, 3 games, we haven't been that good on the ball, have we?
And if you think, past, no, we haven't. But if you think about the game in November as well, it wasn't actually the forward players that got the joy. It was the wing backs. If you remember, the first goal was Robertson getting a ball into the box and Jota getting the head in, and the second goal was Trent firing it across the face of goal and Robertson heading it in. It was actually Salah, Mane, and Jota being kept fairly quiet throughout the game, interestingly enough. And I think that's because we had the 3 in the centre and the 2 up top, which meant when the fullbacks went over, we had the centre mid go out, and obviously they were a bit slower getting out because they're being in the centre rather than the wing back. But now we have 2 wing backs tracking them back already out wide. That could help nullify them a bit more, hopefully. But it does mean in the centre they're going to get a little more joy. They could potentially mean that. So it's give and take, but it's going to be interesting to see how where we get the joy in this game.
Well, obviously, we'll see how it all pans out on a Saturday night. You can catch the watch along here on We Are Tottenham TV with Rez and Danny Kiriakou in the studio. Me and Sim will be up at Anfield, and we'll be catching all the content from up there and sending it in for you guys to see. Hopefully, we'll be non-stop sending in some celebrations. But that is your match preview today. Just before we go, quick score prediction.
2-2.
2-2, yeah.
I think it's going to be a good game of football. I think it'll be open. I think both teams will have chances, but both teams might regret the result.
I'm going to go... I'm sticking with 3-2, man. I know it's an unlikely score, but I'm just trying to stay positive for this weekend, trying to stay confident and hoping with the kind of way we play football, with the kind of way they play football with a lot of space in behind, if we take our chances, I really believe we can win this game. I really do. But it's all a matter of taking our chances, because he tells us that we will not take our chances against Liverpool. But hopefully this can be a turn for the form books, and we can get a result. Obviously, Anfield has not been a happy hunting ground for us for very many years. We went 72 years without winning there, just before we won in the 80s with Garth Crook scoring the winner. And we've only won 3 times there in the whole Premier League era. So history does really tell us that this is going to be an extremely difficult game for us, and it will be an extremely difficult game for us. But I do believe that if we take our chances, we really can get the result here. But that is our match preview. Let me know in the comment section below what your predictions are, what your thoughts on the game are as well. And now it is time to start bringing on some guests, and we can't bring you on, Aravind, until you turn on your camera. So if you can turn on your camera, we'll bring you on straight away. But if someone else's camera is on, please do bring them on. Who have we got?
Everyone's saying 2-1 Spurs. 2-1 Spurs. We're definitely going to score a goal. Someone says this could be a good game for Emerson. Potentially.
I bloody well hope so, because not many games are good games for Emerson. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But to be fair, Emerson was in the team when we beat Man City 3-2 at the
And he was
Etihad.
to the team when we drew to Liverpool.
Yeah. Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting, yeah.
It wasn't Doherty. It was him.
We've got a super chat from Ryan Isaacs Kennard. Big up, Ryan. He says, beer for me for tomorrow. Enjoy, lads. Missed out on a ticket. COYS. 352. Ken number 10. Son and beef up front with Kulu wingbacks.
This isn't a game for Kulu wingback for me.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I think as much as Emerson is frustrating, we need his defensive ability in this game. And we need to make sure when Kulu's on the ball, he's in a forward position and not in a wing-back position.
Absolutely. Another super chat here from Wolvesfire saying, yes, pandemic season has come, has some 7:45 Saturday games, but the rest 30 years EPL, very rare starting time. He's talking about very rare starting time, 7:45 on a Saturday night. And that is absolutely true. I thought I just saw Marlon there. Has he gone?
Oh, he just left, did he?
Our guests keep coming on and leaving.
Coming and going. Why are you leaving us?
But do bear with us, guys. We are going to be bringing on some guests very, very soon.
There was a super chat earlier by Wolves. FI says yes, Beers pandemic season has some 7:45.
I literally just read that out.
Just now?
Yeah, this is a second ago. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you read. I thought it was Ryan you read out.
I read both.
Oh, I didn't read that. I didn't hear that.
So, is there anyone waiting, Quiver? If you can turn your cameras on in the back, and I know there's quite a few of you are there. Marlon's back, so let's bring Marlon on.
Yep. I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you boys? You good? No, not tomorrow. Got a few things on this weekend, and plus, I don't really like going to Anfield. We always lose. Well, that's going to be the main issue. Is like, how do you break down this Liverpool team? I don't think we can. It's going to be difficult. Don't get me wrong, but it's one of them. It's a game over 90 minutes. But I think we've already done our away trip this year. You know, we beat Man City. Yeah, yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Yep, I can hear you too. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, so you know we beat City already. I just can't see us. I can't see us winning the pie. It's not a Spurs thing to do. So, can we pull off a result? Possibly, but can I see it? No, probably not. You know, we went to Old Trafford. We couldn't pull it off there. We have a terrible record there. We ain't gonna do Anfield. You know, so hopefully, something will happen over the weekend. But I just can't see it.
Yeah. Obviously, it's going to be a very, very difficult game. But we've shown already this season we can mix it with the big boys when we do when we have come up against them. We've won at the Etihad. We gave Liverpool a massive game back in December time. So are you confident we can maybe use that as a template to get a result tomorrow?
I'm hoping Kane turns up. You know, the last couple of games he's not been at his best. If Kane turns up, the rest of the team will be fine. My biggest worry is going to be on that right-hand side with Cess and Davis, with the pace of Salah and Trent, if Trent does play, or even Gomez. So hopefully we can get that. If we can get that side sorted, I'm not really worried about Romero because he's got because he's got Romero's backup. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, really, really interesting. I think we'll frustrate them in the first half, but I think I'm looking at it and going, actually, when you look at it, Liverpool will break us down eventually, and will we have the minerals to stop them? I just can't see it.
I mean, but you know, at Anfield or against Liverpool, we usually do get so many chances in the game, and it's just about kind of taking your chances, because we never seem to take our chances against Liverpool, do we?
Yeah, but we're not the only ones. When you look at the way Liverpool played, like, everybody gets chances against Liverpool, and it's whether people can take them. And usually most teams don't take them. And that's why Liverpool are so good at what they do. They will go and take their chances. We're heavily reliant on, hopefully Son will take a chance, and Kane. But I want to be confident, but I just can't see it right now. I think what I'm more relying on is that, you know, Leeds pull off a result at Emirates over the weekend, and then kind of going into that North London derby still with a chance.
Yeah, I mean, if Arsenal do win and we obviously drop points against Liverpool as expected, what's your thoughts on the top four race at that point?
Very interesting. I think it's in Arsenal's hands at the end of the day. And can I see them losing the last couple of games? Probably not. I think they could go, if they go into our game knowing they're 5 points ahead, I think they'll try and defend on Thursday. But it's that Burnley game being so early on the Sunday. Will we have to turn around to do it? And Burnley are fighting for their lives. You know, they need the result.
Yeah, it's very true. So, I mean, if I had to ask you the question, I mean, will we get top four as of now, or are Arsenal going to get it?
I'm going to be confident and say we're going to get it, but we're going to do it the Spurs way of doing it. It's not going to be easy. Put it that way.
It's never easy with Tottenham.
No.
But what's your score prediction going into it?
I think it's going to be 1-0, and I think Liverpool will score in the last 10 minutes. I think we'll frustrate them. Conte will try and frustrate them tomorrow, but I think Liverpool will get something because I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to get all four. I think City will drop one result and Liverpool are just going to pounce.
Do you reckon they're winning the quadruple?
I think they're going to win the quadruple. Yeah, I personally think they're going to do it.
Wow, that's big words there.
Yeah,
just before we let you go, Marlon, tell people about your YouTube channel.
Yeah, so I'm a View from the South Stand. I do after the match interviews. I kind of wait till you lot finish before I do them. But yeah, I have 4 guests on each week, and we just go through the game and try and work it out. But yeah, if you can give me a follow on YouTube channel View, and also on Twitter, South View COYS, you can see my name now. But thanks, lads. Nice to be on.
Thanks for coming on, mate. It's been a long time. It was good to see you last weekend, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yeah, no worries. Cheers, lads.
Cheers, mate. Big up, Marlon.
Good to see you, mate.
We got a super chat here. I'm not going to attempt to read that out because I can't read Korean, but thank you very much. And it just says to Korea. So thank you very much for that. And thank you for the support for the channel. Let's move on and let's start bringing on some more guests. And let's bring on Aravind.
Aravind,
how you doing, buddy?
Good. It's been a long time, but yeah, I'm doing well.
How are you feeling coming into this game? You confident?
Not confident, but I think so we can get some result out of this game. But I don't feel we're gonna win the game, but we can find a draw from somewhere. But that all depends upon Harry Kane and Son playing at 180%, or else there's no other chance we're gonna score the goals, because this time Van Dijk will be back, Fabinho will be back, and the midfield is going to be sorted. And especially Liverpool are now fighting for the title, so they need to win. So they'll be pumped up for the game, and it's Anfield. So there's a lot of factors involved which will make them motivated. And on top of that, we struggle in Anfield, and on top of that, they have a good bench strength. If someone is not performing, they're asked to come in and perform. So all of that in their favor, and that it's going to be very difficult. I can't see we I don't know, for some reason I'm telling you we may score the first goal. We'll score. They'll say it's an offside, and then again they'll score a goal. Either it's a penalty or it'll be a dodgy goal. It happens every time in Anfield. And last time we played in Anfield, the last minute for me no goal. Why does it keep on happening? So that's the only thing which doesn't, even though even luck doesn't favor us when we play against Liverpool, and that's something which worries me. So uh, it's going to be really hard. But I would say that if we win somehow, then it's going to be a huge difference in how what this club is going to go. But I'm telling you, tomorrow's game is going to talk a lot more about what are the summer plans, what our future holds. It's a huge game. I don't feel that we're going to win, but we'll find a draw. But yeah, that's my feeling.
Let me ask you this, Aravind. Last time we played Liverpool in November, we did quite well in the counter-attacking play, playing like the 3-5-2 formation. Against Man City, we did quite well doing the 3-4-3 formation, and that's what we've been playing very recently, ever since the January transfer window. Looking at Liverpool's team, very heavy in midfield, good wing backs as well to really hurt us on the flanks. Which formation would you prefer to play tomorrow night?
I mean, the last time we played, we had Ndomble, Dele Alli, so we had a lot of midfield options. So that's the reason why Conte played at the three. But we have no other choice. We can only play Hobby and Bentancur. So I would stick to the same game plan which we did against Manchester City when we won the game. We played, it was I think it was 5-3. Maybe we played 5-3-2 that game. If I'm not, yeah, I think so.
3-4-3 it was, but.
But the wing backs were much more defensive in that game. So I stick to the same game plan, same way, and and it may the only thing, and it may work. It all depends upon. I'm telling you, it all depends upon Kane and Son. If they turn up turn up that day, then we have a really good chance. But it's all dependent upon them, and we know we, especially when teams are open with us, we do score goals. We saw it against Aston Villa when we're not good, but when they opened it up, we scored goals against City, and whichever teams comes against us, we tend to score much better than the lower block teams. So yes, that is a chance over there, but I think so that quality itself may just find them a way back into the game in case we score. But the first goal is going to be crucial. If we can somehow score the first goal, there'll be some confidence in building up the game. But if they score the first goal, I think so it's dead and buried the minute they score the first goal. It's all about. I would say that our team should go calm, let them play. Like, we should not hurry. We should just be calm with what we're doing. Let them play the game. We know how they're going to play the game, and just wait for the chance. I think so. If we can keep ourselves mentally fit, then I would say that we have a real chance.
Do you think Spurs as a team enjoy playing against teams like Liverpool and City more than they do against teams who wait for us?
I feel so with Conte's setup, and especially when you give Kane, Son, and Kulusevski the space, they tend to do better, and they know how to play when it's over there. I think so. As of now, the ones with the lower block teams, when it's cagey because the wing backs are not good, when we're not finding different ways to score goals, but when it's open, when they have the space, when they can run into the space, and that's when they're very really effective. And especially these three players, when they have the space, they're really effective, and we've seen it in many games. When you give them the space, it's going to be there. And Liverpool is not going to change the way they play. They're going to follow how they tend to play with against every team. They're not going to fear how they play. So I think so that is a weakness which we can target, is that they're not going to change how they play. So it's going to be a good game for these three. And I truly believe that Son, Kane, and Kulusevski is going to get a strong. Is going to be really strong against Liverpool, but especially the way Conte is going to motivate them, and they itself know how crucial this game is. These three will have a good game. It's only about how we can stay positive and not let the lead slip up in case we score.
All right, Aravind, and before we let you go, what's your score prediction?
Okay, I've said so much about this, but I can't live without telling that we're gonna win tomorrow. So I'm just gonna stick with ourselves with 3-2. Just for come on, just one. If we somehow win this game, I know it's a fluke. It's been 10 years. If we can just win this game, it's gonna be a huge game against Arsenal, and I truly believe that we're gonna win that game, whether we lose this or not. So hopefully some by God's grace, by something should happen. Just the one behind me, just please, for the game tomorrow, just turn up. I just want the two players, if they do turn up and they have a really good game, we can somehow like get the win somehow, being strong. So I'm going 3-2.
All right, big up, Aravind. Thanks for coming on today, my friend, and we'll see you next time.
Sure.
Come on, you Spurs. Super chat here from Bob Spur TV saying, Liverpool at home, I was in a coma. FA Cup defeat made me wish I was back in a coma. Let's hope we put Liverpool's title challenge to sleep. Believe it. Do you believe it, Sim?
I believe we can. I believe it's possible, but it's whether it's whether we're on point defensively. I think we're not going to have a problem creating chances, but it's whether we can keep our concentration defensively. If we can do that and we can be clinical, because we will create chances, then we can do it. But I don't back us to have that level of concentration that we need to keep like a clean sheet or keep them down to one goal. Whether we can do that's a big ask. It's difficult.
Yeah.
But we can do it. It's possible. It's not one of those where I'm saying we have no chance. I think we do have a chance.
Let's see what our next guest thinks about our chances to win or get a result this weekend at Anfield. And that is the Jorical. Let's bring him on. Jory, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear, my friend. You were looking, I saw you in the back end before. You were looking very sophisticated before.
No, he was chilling.
Oh,
out.
really?
You disturbed his chilling.
No, you had normal glasses on before that. You were looking very sophisticated. Very sophisticated. There we go. There we go.
That's better,
You
right?
just went from like the Terminator to like the librarian. That was quite funny. Excellent stuff.
Jory, how are you feeling coming into the game?
I'm feeling all right. Generally, I just want to. By the way, greetings from Saudi Arabia. I just
you're
checked
in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, wow, very
it's
nice.
starting to be my. It's starting to be my new routine. Is the first thing I do is connect to the internet and check if you guys are live when I call in. You know, before I call my family, even. You know. So.
One day you're going to take down a plane doing that. It's just someone doing Wi-Fi on an aeroplane. Like, turn
Well,
off the
I haven't
Wi-Fi.
tried the plane yet. One day I'll try it for sure. But
Love it.
no, I was gonna say, I feel all right about it because I kind of feel like all the vibes I'm getting from Conte and from the club is that he's gonna get backed regardless. Maybe not to the same extent, though. I'm sure not to the same extent, but probably good enough. At least that's the vibes we're getting from the club. And even if that was to backfire at this moment in time when we're going into this game, that means that the pressure of the fourth spot is a little bit less than it might be otherwise, you know. And like your previous guests now today have already touched on, I think a big factor is going to be what Harry Kane is going to turn up, because he's been kind of a weird one lately, for sure. But that being said, this is exactly the game where you will see normally vintage Harry Kane. You know, if we get the room to play, like, you know, this is another Man City waiting to happen. You know, and you know they've been studying that and been quite aware of that. But this is also where we have to rejoice in the fact that Klopp and Guardiola are such ideologues, you know, because even if you show them your hand, they're still gonna do their thing, you know. they're not gonna react. It's almost to a point of arrogance in some instances, and I think, I don't think Klopp will. I mean, it would be the greatest kind of compliment we could get is like one of the best clubs, if not the best club in the world, was to react, to set up, to change their gameplay, to to um, to not give us any joy, So, I don't think, even though Klopp is quite aware of how dangerous we can be. Say what?
No, we hadn't.
Oh,
Well,
it's
no,
in the
no.
background. Oh, yeah.
Apologies, sorry about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what Klopp was saying in his press conference as well. Liverpool have to win the game, and Tottenham being one of the best counter-attacking sides in the league, that could be a recipe for disaster. Conte was saying that he believes his Tottenham side actually might like playing sides like Liverpool and City, who leave them space more than the sides who sit back and wait for Tottenham and to come at them. And so you think tomorrow could be one of those games which definitely does suit us?
Yeah, I mean, it suits us in the terms of that's the kind of game where we will usually perform at a very high level. If it's enough to get us over the line, that will, it hasn't been lately, even though we have been matching them play wise, And there is a little bit of a motive factor there, like not only with Tottenham, but a lot of teams just kind of, they kind of do a brain fart about being in Anfield and playing this Liverpool team, even though they're getting chances, they don't take them and so on. And we've been guilty of that lately as well, So I think, the guy to fix that is Conte for sure, And I like I say, if Kane turns up in the same manner as Man City, Liverpool will have a hard time for sure. And I mean, you were asking about what you think, what kind of a formation, and like, it's difficult for me to imagine anything else than what we've been playing lately. But yeah, and which normally wouldn't be great because they're going to be, have the overload on in the midfield, but there won't be any midfield tomorrow. It'll be our third, and then a lot of counters. I think maybe we start off the game with pressing them super hard to get the first goal, but other than that, I think we're going to be really compact, and then we're going to go for the counters. And we have, like, we've won Man City both games this season, a lot of games before that, so we can really weather these storms. It's not like Man City is any less of a team when it comes to peppering your goal. And we can when we're on our game. So it would, and many have mentioned it already. It would be typical for us to get 3 points from this and then lose to Burnley. I'm actually a little bit more worried about Burnley because they're in the fight. So
it's interesting. I've actually been saying that for the past couple of weeks. I'm more worried about that Burnley game than I am for the Liverpool game. But it's like, it's the same thing when we went to beat Man City, and what did we do the week after? We lost to Burnley. I mean, it's just classic Tottenham, isn't it? Just absolutely classic.
And the opposition that we face there is much more like we have the elite talent to play elite football, and then the supporting roles can just do their supporting things. But we don't have the talent to just grit it out in a tough game in Burnley. Not even our elite players are very kind of gritty, rough. Like Kane will lose his patience, and Sonny will get confused and so on. So we're not great at that. So but I could turn it around also. I could say, in the same manner, I kind of think that Arsenal should be quite scared of the Leeds game. So because they're showing up now, and they really want it, and they're fighting for it, and they're having quite a nice bounce, I think, manager bounce. So and that's also a gritty, rough game, which I think maybe the young feckled players of Arsenal might actually not enjoy too much, So I don't know, but also maybe it's also in our minds the pressure is off because it's basically if not the best team in the world, it's one of 2 or 3 best teams in the world that we're playing. So we're kind of it's not that it's a free one. I really want at least 1 point, but hopefully 3 points, and I do believe we can get them, but it's kind of one of those. If we play at that level, if we compete with them, then I'm fine with it. Then you've done your job. It's still football. Anything can happen. We can't control every factor. But if we're competing with them, which we have done in the games with them lately, then I'm happy with my boys. But if we totally buckle under the pressure and the storm, then of course it's not going to be. It could go really bad as well. So.
Absolutely.
Jory,
Absolutely.
given the maths of the top 4 situation, a draw and a loss tomorrow doesn't make too much of a difference, because if you work out the maths,
exactly,
whether we draw or lose, we still need to beat Arsenal in the North London derby, and we still need Arsenal to drop points in either Newcastle or Everton. It doesn't make too much of a difference. So from that logic, would you take a draw tomorrow? Is it worth taking a draw? If we are drawing, would you really go for it late in the game, or would you take a
No,
point?
I mean, I would. Exactly. If you're talking about management and setting up and all of that, and any in-game management and stuff like that, I would always go for the 3 points. I would risk it for the biscuit, so to speak. I would go for the 3 points for sure. Because, like you say, even if we lose the game, it's like we still need a similar dynamic to take place for us to steal it. Then so yeah. But if we win the game, and let's say Arsenal take a draw or something, now we're in the driving seat. So. Yeah, I think definitely, and I would be very surprised if that's not Conte's recipe. I don't know, maybe not. Conte gets really pragmatic in the oddest moments as well. When we, the fan base, are kind of routing for it, he kind of gets quite conservative sometimes with it. For example, his in-game management and stuff like that. So you don't know, and I mean we all know Conte knows better than we do. So I guess it's good he's having the last word in that manner. But no, I think also in terms of if nothing else, just Kane. This is a game where Kane wants to showcase himself. He knows the whole footballing world is watching. He wants to show who he is, what he can do, and hopefully we'll get a show like Man City, So.
Well, let me ask you for your score prediction. You don't have Kyle to bounce off this time, so you can't copy him this time. So what's your score prediction going to be?
Hold on, guys. I got my room service here. I need to.
What you got ordered? Go on.
Yeah, sorry, guys. I have to. 1 minute.
All right, predictions in the chat. What's he got for room service?
What do you think? Let's predict what Jory's going to predict. Everyone put your Jory prediction in the comment section below.
What room service has he got?
Oh, room service prediction are we going for?
Yeah. That's what I'm going for. I'm thinking maybe
I'm going for like a nice
cheese.
club sandwich or something like that.
Yeah, club sandwich. Burger, potentially burger and chips.
Hey, guys.
Jory, we've all been doing predictions of what you've got in the room service.
So I did order a club sandwich and a brownie. But I only got the brownie. They messed up.
You only got the brownie. Amazing. What prediction? You can't eat a club sandwich is very room servicey. Done very well there.
There's clearly more Jericles around than me, right?
Clearly. I know you better than you know yourself, Jory. Clearly.
Yeah, clearly.
But look, as I was saying, there's no Kyle. You didn't come on after Kyle this time, so you can't copy his score prediction. So what is your score prediction?
I'm gonna go for 3-2.
3-2, same as
City
me.
Redo, right?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do
right.
it. Jory,
All right, guys,
enjoy your brownie, and we'll see you soon, bro.
Take care.
Last one, Jory.
Come on, you
Good
Spurs.
Come on. Big up the Joracle as always. But let's keep going. We've got more guests to speak to in the back end. And let's go to Mr. Stelios from Tottenham away. Stel, how's it going, buddy?
Happy birthday for the other day, by the way, Stel.
Oh, thank you, mate. Nice one. Appreciate that.
Happy birthday,
Everyone
Stel.
wish Stella happy birthday in the comments. Come on, show the love.
Talking about love, something that needs to be said, guys, and it's not something I really want to have to cover, but I do need to get it out of the way from the off. And do shame about the West Ham.
That was brilliant last night, wasn't it?
Fantastic.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I had a great evening last night, riling up all those West Ham fans online. It's absolutely brilliant.
Look, I remember when we lost the Champions League final, all the London clubs said to us, you bottled your biggest ever game in your club's history. Well, guess what? That was your biggest ever game, and damn right you're going to get all the grief we got when we didn't win the Champions League. We're going to give you the grief for bottling the Europa Cup semi-final.
Exactly, against a Frankfurt side as well. Went down to 10 men after the 20th minute. I mean, atmosphere was brilliant last night in that stadium. But
Glasgow Rangers as well. The atmosphere there
that was crazy.
Unbelievable.
Crazy. But look, we're not here to talk about the Europa League. We're not here to talk about West Ham, even though it is a bit of fun today talking about them. But we're here to talk about Spurs going up to Anfield tomorrow night, 7:45 kickoff, which will be partially under the lights. How are you feeling coming into the game?
Pretty relaxed. I don't expect anything from the game, guys. Don't expect me to come and tell you about a romantic Man City-esque performance. I agree with what the first caller, Alex from the Liverpool fan club, came on and said.
Cop TV, yeah.
Cop TV. Shout out to Alex for coming on your show. Yeah, I agree with him. It never drops for us at Anfield, and even when we do turn up, the best we get is a draw.
Can I remind you, though, what you said in the preview to the Man City game just before we beat them? You said we're going into that game with an unloaded gun or something along those lines. I can't remember.
We're going in there. We're taking bananas into a gunfight.
That's the one you said. That's the one you said.
I also said that we should play our under-23s so that our team is fresh and we guarantee the win against Burnley. What happened was we beat Man City, and then we lost to Burnley. So
you were half right in a way.
and do you know what? I slightly disagree with what you guys said earlier.
Yeah.
I think 100% we're losing this game. 3-1, 2-1, 2-0. We're not going to beat Liverpool at Anfield. But we will beat Burnley. I'm not worried about Burnley at all. Let them come. Let them battle for relegation. We'll beat Burnley. We always beat Burnley at our ground. We always have. We struggle when we go to Burnley away. At home, we normally do really, really well against Burnley. So I'm not worried about Burnley at all. And do you know what? Whether we lose or draw tomorrow, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. 1 point or no points. We need Arsenal to drop points. Arsenal have to drop points either at Newcastle or Leeds. If they drop points in those games, we can afford to lose to Liverpool as long as we beat them in the North London derby.
Do you think though the way Liverpool play could suit us in the way in terms of they have a certain way of playing, they don't change for anyone, and it definitely leaves themselves open for a counter attack?
Yeah, it definitely opens them up for a counter attack. But do you trust Davies, Dyer, Emerson, Cess against Jota, Salah, Mane, Thiago, Henderson?
Yeah, look, you say that, but look at last year at Anfield. We had chances to win that game. We had chances to take points from that game, and Bergwijn misses those 2 1-on-1s earlier on in the season. I mean, we were... Oh, Stelios is gone now. This always happens with Stel. Always.
He had enough. He's had enough.
It's too much positivity. He had to tone it down a little bit. But anyway, Stel, let's hope you can get back on. He's there. He's there. Stel, you're back. It always happens with you. Why always you?
No, do you know what it is? Like mid talking to you, I can hear Brian talking, I can hear Kyle talking, and then it just switched off.
Can everyone in the back end please be silent so Stel can hear his own thoughts?
Mute. Yeah, I'm trying to meditate here, people.
But as I was saying, earlier on in the season, we had our chances against Liverpool, didn't put them away. So many presentable chances. Last year at Anfield, Bergwijn missing those 2 1-on-1s. I mean, we're going to get chances, surely.
When we, okay, because someone mute Kyle.
Kyle, please.
Okay,
please.
I've done it. Somehow I've managed to find a way to mute him. Okay, so I think when we played Liverpool at our ground this season, they had quite a few injuries, and it worked to our favour.
So did we.
We did, but we've still got them. So Skip's still out. They've got their players back.
Yeah, but Højbjerg was out.
No Romero.
No Bentancur, no Kulusevski.
Yeah, true. We're stronger in the attack. You'd say defensively, Kulu's better than what we had that day. But I'm talking about the reason we did well in that game is because Liverpool had a lot of players out. So and last season when we went up to their ground and Bergwijn missed those 2 chances. Emerson, Cess, these players weren't in that team. I just think
they were when we beat City though.
Yeah, guys, we can't compare Liverpool to City. We've got City's number. We've had City's number for 5 years. City haven't beaten us in our new stadium, and they haven't even scored a goal in our new stadium. You know that? We've got their number. We're just their bogey team. I don't know how we're their bogey team. But you can probably
they've probably had more shots than either opponent in our stadium as well.
Yeah, they just haven't scored it. It probably goes back to 81 when they should have won the FA Cup. But we got a last-minute equaliser to take it to a replay. Then it was the famous Ricky Villar night. Since then, I think we've just put juju on them. We've just got voodoo on Man City. But I don't think you can compare. I've heard a lot of people today talking about, but at Man City, you can't compare Man City to Tottenham playing Liverpool. We always find it difficult at Anfield, like really difficult. And I just feel we're playing them at the wrong time. Maybe if we played them 3-4 months earlier, maybe. But right now, they're on fire. Like you saw against Villarreal. Villarreal, they took the game to Liverpool. They've rocked Liverpool 2-2. Everyone's thinking, wow, anything can happen now. And then they just raise the levels. They make 1 or 2 subs that we can't make because we haven't got the quality of Diaz to come off the bench. And they just put Villarreal to the sword. That's the difference with Liverpool. They've got something about them right now, that upward momentum, that I just feel. I'm just being honest with what I think. I just feel we're walking into the lion's den. I think we're just playing them at the wrong time, and I said that a couple of weeks ago. But having said that, even if we get a draw, it's not enough. So Arsenal have to drop points, guys. They have to drop points.
If seeing as a draw isn't enough, would you take a draw right now? I've offered it.
I couldn't care less, really. I would, because it means we don't lose, and that's confidence. So yeah, of course I would, absolutely. But in the grand scheme of things, we have to beat Arsenal, and Arsenal have to either lose or draw to Newcastle, Leeds, or Everton. And the game I'm looking at, the one game where I think, the only game where I realistically see Arsenal dropping points is Newcastle away. Because Eddie Howe hasn't lost 1 home game since he became manager, except to Liverpool, and that was a 1-0. So if we can win all our remaining fixtures after Liverpool, it's that Newcastle game that I think will decide where we go from there in terms of where we finish next season. But we finish this season, beg your pardon.
All right, Stel, what's your score prediction going into it?
3-1 Liverpool, sadly, with regret. I just don't feel we're gonna do it. Look, at the end of the day, if we do it, I'll be so happy because I'm not expecting anything. I'm expecting a loss. If we do win, I'll be jumping up and down on the sofa. I'll be calling in We Are Tottenham TV. I'll be going on all the podcasts. I'll be going crazy, So, look,
and you'll be doing the same thing if we lose as well.
I'll just be like, well, that's right. No. If we lose, I'm cooking Barry. Because Barry, he said, we're going to get something at Anfield. He's adamant. And what was the bet? If we don't get something at Anfield, I think he has to come on your show with a I Am Sorry Stel t-shirt. Yeah, in fact.
And what do you
Barry,
need to do if we do?
Nothing. But my forfeit is if we get top 4, then I'm really fucked.
Yeah. Yes, you are. Yes,
But
you
I
are.
hope we get. Listen, I hope we get top 4. You know, I've said it all along. I'm a season ticket holder. I want to see us play the best teams, not the the average teams. So, the one thing I will say about tomorrow that has to happen in the game, Sessegnon and Emerson, that for me they're not good enough to deal with Trent and Robertson. One of the centre backs will have to go over and double up on Trent and Robertson, just like we did at White Hart Lane. But either Højbjerg or Bentancur, and this is key, has to drop into the centre-back role when the centre-back pushes over to cover the wide areas. That has to happen. If that doesn't happen, they'll create the chance and put us to bed. That's the one thing that has to happen. And my worry with that is you've got to play 3 in the middle. You can't play 2. So this 3-4-3 is a disaster at Anfield if we go there with that. He's got to change. He's got to put 3 in the middle. And I don't know if Kane is a solution to that, because if you put Kane in the middle, then you're losing the creative output for the forward players. So I'm not saying we should do this, but it might be worth considering just for this particular fixture to actually start Winks as a holding mid. But he
played well in the first game against Liverpool.
It's such a shame Skip's out, man. It's such a shame. Skip would have been perfect for this. But it might just be worth bringing in Winks for that role, just to cover when the centre-back gets pulled out of shape. Because the centre-backs are going to get pulled. That's how Liverpool play. They spread the ball wide. And that Diaz is a good player, really good. We need to double up. But then if you bring in that third centre-mid out of the front 3, who do you take off? Do we drop Kulusevski and bring him on for the last 30 minutes like we did against Leicester? We might have to consider that as an approach.
Could you maybe put Kulu on in more central? Like I remember getting things against Wolves. We put him like a bit behind the strikers. It was like a 3-4-1-2.
Yeah, but then who's going to play in that defensive role when we're out of possession? That's the point I'm trying to make. Is when Liverpool come onto us, and let's say the ball goes out wide, one of the centre-backs has to go out wide to double up with our wing-back to stop Trent or Sess. So now there's a gap in the centre-back position. That's where you need the holding mid to drop in. But then by doing that, you only leave one holding mid sitting in front of the 3 centre-backs. That's why that's why the 3 worked when we played with it was Dele, Winks, and who was it?
Ndombele.
And Ndombele, right. That worked. So do you then put Kane into that 3? If you do, you lose the creative link. Or do you take one of the front 3 out of the game and start a Winks? Can't believe I'm saying that. Jesus Christ. Starting a Winks. And then if we're still in the game...
I thought you were Winks' biggest advocate still.
But also, you got to remember...
I am as an attacking mid, but he's never going to play attacking mid for Spurs. So
you got to remember the last game, we played the 3-5-2... But the wing backs were getting a lot of joy because it forced one of the centre mids to go out and go to the wing backs whenever the wing backs were going forward, and now we have another player out wide in Kulusevski and Emerson and Son and Sessegnon, whereas last time we only had one player out wide from each wing with the centre mid go, oh, he's gone again.
Well, Luke, we've got the score prediction, Stel. That was good having you on, Stel. We'll see you very soon, hopefully after 3 points on the weekend. Let's go to our next guest, and it's not KPV. No, I'm joking. It's KPV. Let's bring him on. KPV.
No, what's up?
How you doing, mate?
Good.
How you feeling? How you feeling coming into the game this weekend?
I'm feeling quite confident, shall we say. Not fully confident because we're not. Our record is poor, but as you said on the podcast, we've won there, 2 times, you said, or 3?
3 times in the Premier League area.
99, 2011?
And there was one in the early 90s or late 90s. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, but...
95 in the Cup.
In the Cup, yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling quite confident, not fully, let's be honest. But, I'm sorry, Stel, but I disagree, mate. I'm going 3-1 Tottenham because let's spoil the party tomorrow because I want revenge for that Champions League final loss, and I'm still not having this because how was that a pen in the final? Here, not here, here. Seriously, get over it. Liverpool fans need to accept this. We should have scored, but lucky bastards. Tomorrow, revenge is coming, and as I've said, Conte's never lost to Anfield. He's unbeaten, 2 draws. That was with Chelsea, but this is now he's unbeaten there. So can he maintain the unbeaten record, or will he lose? But the answer is no. We're gonna win tomorrow. Son and Kane love a goal against Liverpool. Kane actually has scored at Anfield. Yes.
All right, so Tottenham against Liverpool at Anfield, and it's
live.
Big up, Carl.
And yeah, and it's live.
Big up, Carl. Thanks for coming on today, mate, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, and as always, Levy out.
Big up, big up, big up.
We do have super chats here.
Go on, let's get through some super chats.
Neville Murrigan says, "Hi guys, I love the show. Hoping for a 2-0 win. Let's believe. We believe we must take the game to them. 2-0, clean sheet."
Wow.
Very,
I
very
cannot see us
optimistic.
keeping a clean sheet there.
Ariane says, "Of course I trust Davis." I think he's replying to Stell. He says, "Do you trust Dyer, Davis, Sessegnon and Emerson to keep a clean sheet?" Ariane responding there. Danny Kiriakou saying, "Stell, get off dial up." He's still using dial up. Sort out Stell. And Faz Radfar says, "Stell will beat Liverpool despite the odds." A lot of people talking to Stell.
All right, Stell likes to rattle a few feathers, that's why. But let's bring it on our next guest.
This guy doesn't ruffle anyone's feathers.
No one. It's Tottenham, Liverpool at Anfield, and it's live. Let's bring on Brian Daigle. How you doing, mate?
Mate, you've gone up levels of legendary statuses. You really have. How are you, boys, and everyone?
I'm good, mate. You keeping well?
Yeah, I'm keeping well, mate. I'm keeping well. Just counting the days till back in London, which is not too far away, so all good. And yeah, just looking forward to tomorrow.
How are you looking at this game? I mean, when you look earlier on in the season, we had a very good game against Liverpool, packing the midfield with 3 in midfield. I think Ali, Ndombele, Winksy. Obviously, earlier in the season as well, we beat Man City at the Etihad, but we're playing the formation that we're kind of playing now. What would you prefer to see, and what could combat Liverpool the best, do you reckon?
Well, one thing I will say with Stell, I pretty much agreed with him on everything until he mentioned Harry Winks' name. I put a tweet out last week. In all honesty, if we played 3, I'd rather see Harvey White there. You look at it, we gave Ledley King a debut when he was a youngster. Japhet Tanganga, we've done this before. Even Harry Winks against West Ham on his debut. And I think a lot of fans would rather see someone that might be a bit more creative and a set-piece specialist on the pitch than having Harry Winks, whether it's a start on a 3 or to come off the bench.
Brian, can we afford to do that in such a pivotal game?
Well, we've done it before. I mean,
but not in such a pivotal game,
you
though.
mentioned Ledley King, Brian. You got to remember we were 2-0 up and King came on and we lost 3-2. So
no, Ledley King started on that game, didn't he? Against Liverpool in his debut.
I think you're talking about Michael Dawson. I think Dawson started.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he started at Anfield.
So we'll have to wait. I just don't want to see Harry Winks. I just really don't at all costs.
Danny Rose.
Did Danny Rose make his debut against Liverpool too?
No, but he made it against
Arsenal.
Oh, Arsenal, yeah. And he got taken off at half time.
Scored though.
So you know what? Bringing on a youngster, other teams have done it. I think honestly, Harry Winks is the only player whose value goes down when he goes on the pitch. I don't know how it happens. I just don't want to see him there. I agree, maybe going with a 3, but I just don't want to see Harry Winks in that 3. I just don't.
Yeah, I just genuinely don't see how Harvey White can be a genuine option there. I mean, if it's not Harry Winks, who can it be?
Listen, when Japhet Tanganga came on with Jose Mourinho's Liverpool, everyone would have been like, "Who the hell is this kid?"
Yeah,
and look what he did. So,
but the fact of the matter is, Brian, Harvey White went on loan to Portsmouth last year in League One, and he wasn't starting every week. He wasn't getting in the team consistently.
Yeah, no, Ben, I'm completely with you on that. And I'm just saying that's how opposed I am to seeing Harry Winks start. I'm not saying that's what we should do. I'm saying if we were,
so what should we do?
Play a 3, beat Liverpool. That's pretty much. Let's just try and get over that huge hurdle. But no, I'm thinking that. Do you know what? We all know it's going to be a very, very tough game, and we all know the record at Anfield. I think what it comes down to is, like you said, rightly so, in the previous game, if Bergwijn had taken his chances, we would have been talking about a win, and that's what it's coming down to. We just have to be. We will have chances, and we just have to make sure we bloody well take them. None of this hitting the post or whatever. That's what it comes down to. And Alisson, I was just on another stream with a Liverpool fan, and Alisson has kept 31 clean sheets this season, apparently, which is ridiculous. Which is ridiculous in all competitions. So listen, if we get these chances, we just have to make sure we take them. We got the front three that are capable. We just have to make sure we do. Because how many chances do you get away with at Anfield?
Not many. But do you think, though, the way we play, we created a lot of chances early in the season against Liverpool, didn't we? So maybe it could suit us playing against a team who leave a lot of risk.
They do, but I mean, one thing I will say, the home game, as you know, we rightly should have won that. That was a fantastic performance, but they had a lot of key players out.
So
which
did we.
As did we, yeah.
Yeah, but if you put their key players in, all right, we can't even talk about Decky and Bentancur because they weren't even there. But the actual players Liverpool had out at that time was ridiculous. And the only real problem I see is if they do play Diaz and he's up against Emerson, I'm petrified. That is the chink in the armour that I'm petrified at. And the other reason I'm petrified is we know, you and me, we all saw it at Man City when Romero was covering at right back or doing the work to cover him so incredibly. And let's just hope that Romero doesn't make any rash challenges and pick up some cards there, because he has to be at the North London derby. So that's the one area that really scares me when it's if it is Diaz against Emerson. That's a real concern.
Yeah, especially as like how close Diaz was to signing for us. You just know how these things work out, don't you? He's due for a stellar game against us, isn't he?
Of course. I mean, this is the thing as well. I think what other advantage Liverpool have is that I think Liverpool can pretty much guess what is our front three. You'd imagine Kulusevski is straight back in his normal position. I've heard other things with other people saying he could be a right back, but I think he will go back to where he plays. And the worry we have is we don't know what three Liverpool play. That five they've got, it could be any kind of combination. So Liverpool can work hard on what they know our front three will be, whereas we're just kind of guessing what their front three could be. But if Diaz is there, big concern for me.
How much is the importance of this game in the outlook of the top four race for you? Is it a free hit for you, or do you think that it's imperative for us to win this game?
Do you know what? This is the thing. I mean, I think the Leeds game with the Filth is more trickier than people are thinking. If you look back at the time when Jimmy Floyd, I mean, I'm going back in the archives now, when Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank was at Leeds, twice he stopped Arsenal winning the title at this kind of stage of the season. And if you remember when I think Venables was still in charge of Leeds, when Arsenal were going for the title and Leeds were on the verge of relegation, Mark Viduka scored a goal to stop them winning the league. So
I remember that.
This game has thrown up at this time of the year complications for Arsenal. And I think if we could just, I mean, I as much as we need to win, I think a draw is the most realistic outcome for us. But obviously, if we get a win, then that really will Liverpool. I mean, the Filth will really be like, oh shit, we need to be on our A game, and it may strike the living fear out of them. But I don't think this Leeds game is as easy as Arsenal are making it out to be.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be tough for them. But considering that a draw or a defeat in terms of the mathematics of the top four race doesn't make too much of a difference, would you take a draw tomorrow if offered it now?
I think I would. I really think I would, because a draw is still a good point to come away from. It will make Arsenal think, well, okay, it's down to what? It'll go down to 1 point. And that still puts pressure on them. If we do lose, and then obviously they go and win against Leeds, this game becomes even bigger.
If we draw and they win, it's the same. It's not too much difference.
Yeah, there is that, but I honestly think if we can get a draw, that may put a little bit of pressure in it being 1 point as opposed to. I really do. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, me say something crazy? That's a new one. But yeah, I just think, obviously, I mean, if we go into that North London derby 5 points ahead and then they beat us, and then St Tottenham, I don't even want to think about it. But yeah, I think a draw might just put a little bit too much pressure on Arsenal. I really do.
Nah, that's not happening. That day got extinct a long time ago.
Yeah,
That day
let's
got
pray to
completely
God, mate.
extinct
Let's
a long
pray to
time
God,
ago.
because how ironic would it be that St Tottenham's day happens, they get top four again and beat. Oh, mate, all I would say is if that were to happen, thank God I'm not there. Thank God.
Finally, Brian, what's your score prediction going into it?
So my head is saying 1-1, my heart is saying 2-1, so I'm going to go with my heart. But before I do, I'll start getting my fingers ready. I just want to say fantastic news that the groundsman won a trophy, so they've won the same amount as the team. I've got 2 new hashtags.
Actually, the groundsman has actually probably won more trophies now than than we have.
So as I've been saying, grass over glory and to dare is to dig. They're my new hashtags that will be adding to my collection, but it's not me that came up with them. There's 2 people, Andrew Gregory and David Howe, not the David Howes. They need a lot of credit, but they're adding to my collection. And all I will say is love everyone in the chat, love you 2 guys, and as always, Levy out.
Big up, Brian. Big up, Brian. Always great to get him on. But let's keep going, unless there's any super chats to get through.
No.
All right, Ariane. Let's bring Ariane on. Ariane, how's it going, man?
You're on mute.
I think you're on mute, mate.
I don't.
I can hear you now. I can hear you.
There we go.
How you doing, mate? How you doing?
Doing as well as I can here, because tomorrow's gonna be a tough game, and I don't know how much I'm looking forward to it, because I feel like it's gonna be one of those games where, like at Anfield, just against Liverpool in general, I think we do every single time, for the most part, outplay them. The only time in my memory that we've not outplayed them, like even in the Champions League final, I think we were playing better as far as I can remember, and I don't think many Spurs fans even remember exactly what's happening in that game. Last time I think we got outplayed was like Pochettino's last game against Liverpool. But for the most part, we always outplay Liverpool, and then just something happens for a goal or two, and we take So it's gonna be frustrating. That's the most. It's gonna be an infuriating loss more than anything. I feel like, before the game, everyone's like, oh yeah, I'll take a draw. Then the game happens. Then we're actually drawing, and we're like, oh no, we should be winning this. And then we lose in the last minute. That's like a recipe for a game against Liverpool. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen tomorrow, and I don't know how much I'm looking forward to it.
How big is Ben Davis going to be tomorrow?
Oh, he's going to be massive against Mo Salah. You already know. Against Mohamed Salah, he's going to just... he's gonna steal Son that golden boot. He's gonna leave Mo Salah shivering after the game. You know what I mean? Nah. I mean, if he plays well, I'll be ecstatic. But Mo Salah is gonna be a brilliant player. It's gonna be difficult for Davis to do much of anything against a player of the caliber of Mo Salah, as it is for most defenders. And for all of our defenders have the work cut out for them. Not just Davis. You have potentially Diaz or Mane down Romero and Emerson's side. Down the middle, of course, you're gonna have someone like Jota for Dyer. It's gonna be a difficult game for any of our defenders, just any of our players, really, because everyone's gonna have to get back and defend. So this is not gonna be an easy game by any means for any of our players, because Liverpool's quality is just. They're probably the best team in the country, especially with what Man City did yesterday. I don't think it's hard to put past them that right now they're the best team in the country. And there's no 2 ways about it. So,
but could this kind of game suit us though, the way we play?
Like I said, it always suits us, but we can't finish every time we go against Liverpool. We always create the chances. In that Pochettino's last game that I even mentioned, Son missed a literal empty net. He hit the post from like how many yards out? I remember he got around Allison and then hit the post. So. We always go in, even this season against Liverpool. We had like 20 chances that game. Dele Alli missed like 2 or 3. Kane, I think, missed like a couple. We always create nothing but chances. It's like a little bit the way Man City play against us. They always seem to get like a million shots on the goal, but none of them go in. Or maybe the odd 1 or 2 goes in, but they still manage to just get that goal out of something. And that's the frustrating thing with Liverpool. They don't stop, and when they don't stop, at some point they get something, and that's why it's impossible to give a clean sheet against them. Like I would bet Like if we end up keeping a clean sheet against them, I don't even know what I'll do, but because it's not happening, so it's going to be difficult, and we're not, maybe we're going to go on great chances. I'm just so worried that this is going to be the exact same game that we always happen to have against Liverpool. We outplay them and they pull a goal out of somewhere. It's just what they do.
In terms of the top four race, how imperative is tomorrow's result, and what do you think the consequences of whatever result happens tomorrow will be?
I think if we do get any result, draw, especially if a win happens, I don't want to really talk about a win because I'd rather talk about the more likely scenario. Is if we do get a draw, I think it'll keep Arsenal alert that we're not down and out because, in their mind, they're probably like, oh, okay, it's Liverpool. We have a 2-point gap. We can make it 5 points this week, and then we're going to be in the driver's seat for top four. That's probably what's going through Arsenal fan and Arsenal players' minds right now. If we do get a draw or somehow we get a win, because if we get a win, they're probably going to be like, ooh, this is going to be much tougher than we thought. And, then we'd have to go play them, and that's going to be a completely different kind of look on who's going to win. But if we draw or lose, it could give them a little bit of momentum. But at the same time, it's like, well, it was Liverpool, so how crazy of a result is that? Are they really still down and out? And Leeds, like Brian said, is still a difficult game for Arsenal. Definitely Newcastle away is definitely a difficult game for Arsenal. Dele Alli might pull a rabbit out of the hat against Everton in Everton against Arsenal. And they're in a relegation battle, so they're yeah, of course. But and seriously, the Everton are in a relegation battle, so they're going to be scrapping for any point they can get their hands on. So the games that they're going to have is against opposition that does have something to fight for. They have 2 relegation-threatened teams, not mid-table teams with their seasons pretty much over. But then Newcastle are just kind of getting as high up the table as they can. That just seems to be their objective. So they are going to go completely all out. Eddie Howe seems to want to keep impressing everyone. So I don't, I think Arsenal's fixtures aren't as easy as everyone's saying. Are they easier than ours? Probably. But I don't think they're as easy as everyone's making them out to be. And they could totally lose or draw a game before we get to them in that North London derby. So I don't think it's over, even if we do get handed a terrible loss against Liverpool. I think it'll be very annoying, considering then we have to pray Arsenal lose a game or two. But I don't think that's impossible. I don't think it makes the race over or anything. Is it important? Yeah, but is it imperative to something? No, because it's Liverpool at the end of the day. This is not an expected win. We'll see what happens.
All right. Score prediction?
Score prediction is regrettably 2-1 Liverpool.
Oh, Ariane, get off the channel, mate. I'm joking. It's been great to have you on, Ariane, and we'll see you next time.
This time it's the morning, so I can't scream, but I'll go, come on, you Spurs!
Come on. All right, and we have our last caller of the day, and sometimes you do save the best till last, and that is the Irish Hotspur. Let's bring him on. How you doing, Dave?
Yeah, all good. The pre-match pump-up specialist is here, guys.
Yeah, I mean, how you keeping, bro? How you keeping, and how you feeling coming into the game this weekend?
Excited. I believe every Spurs fan should be excited. Look, this is what football is all about, these big games with something riding on it, and I believe every Spurs fan should be excited.
Yeah, I completely agree. And when you're looking at it, the way Liverpool play football, I mean, it plays into our hands, doesn't it? It will leave us a lot of space in behind, but we got to worry about them going the other way. And how do we combat that?
Do you know what, Ben? I've been trying to weigh this up the last 2 days. For me, there's 2 ways you can approach this game. Look, you can approach it the way Villarreal did in the first half and just go at them, fight for every ball, kick the living shit out of them, and hopefully exploit that high line. Or you sit back, you keep it tight, frustrate them for a large period of the game, and the longer the game goes on, the more nervous that crowd get, the more Liverpool throw bodies forward, and the higher their line gets, because they have to go for the game because they want the quadruple and they want the league title. So, look, for me, the sort of person I am, I'd much rather approach it the way Villarreal approached it. Try and get at them, nick a couple of goals. But look, don't get me wrong. I mean, this is a mammoth task going to Anfield. Last victory there was in 2011 when Modric and Van der Vaart scored in a 2-0 win. But It's not impossible. Impossible is not in my vocabulary. And at the end of the day, there's no reason why we can't go up there and get a result. We've got the front three to be able to put them to the test. Look, they don't concede much at Anfield. I think they're on a 40-game unbeaten run or something crazy there. At Anfield, they don't lose many there whatsoever. What I will say to Spurs fans, though, is if Sadio Mane has scored in 49 home games, and all them home games he scored in there are yet to lose. So if he scores tomorrow, we're in big trouble. But look,
I also believe Van Dijk has never lost to Anfield or something crazy like that.
Yeah, I think when he was out injured last season, they lost whatever. But look, at the end of the day, Jurgen Klopp likes to call them the mentality monsters. But look, this Antonio Conte has also mentioned mentality in his pre-match press conference. You know, he says he wants Tottenham to, in a roundabout way, he wants Tottenham to handle the pressure. And look, I'm not worried about us going forward. For me, I'm worried about us defensively. I've seen things creep into Dyer and Davies' game over the last few weeks that I do not like. I've seen, look, Emerson on the ball, not the best going forward. Sessegnon, look, although I had a great game against Liverpool at the start of the season when we got the draw, you just don't know what you're going to get from the kid at the end of the day. And for me, I worry about us a little bit defensively. I think Jurgen Klopp has definitely pinpointed our wide areas to get at, Emerson and Sessegnon. I'd be surprised if he hasn't. Every other manager does. And Liverpool will be dangerous because not only are you up against whether it's going to be Diaz, Mane or Salah out wide, you don't know who it will be, but I presume it will be one of them. But you also have Trent Alexander-Arnold getting forward and putting them balls in from all angles. Then you have Robertson getting forward the other side. So it's going to be a tough game for them, for Emerson and Sessegnon out wide tomorrow. So I just wonder what Conte will have to kind of counteract that.
Yeah, and do you think he should change things up? Like he played 3-5-2 back in December when we played Liverpool and we created a host of chances and we should have won the game? Or does he stick with the 3-4-3, which we did play when we beat Man City? And in fact, the team that we played against Man City is all available for tomorrow. So do we just stick with that team and go with that?
Yeah, I'd be very surprised to see him make changes. Look, I don't think we can make changes, to be honest with you. I think the best players we have available to us are out there. We've got 15 fit outfield players for the next 4 games, so there's only limited changes he actually can make to this squad. Look, I know he went for a 3-5-2 against Liverpool last time, and look, it worked. You know, we ended up creating chances, and we should have bet them. It did work, but I just don't think Winks isn't a player I rely on going to Anfield with, to be honest with you. If he can't do it at home, and you've seen what he done coming off the bench last week, I mean, he does that against Liverpool. We're just going to be punished time and time again. So I think with Bentancur and Højbjerg, they've struck up a good partnership. And for me, I would go with that to start with.
All right. And how do you see the game playing out? What's your score prediction?
Yeah, look, I'm not like Carry On. You'll never hear me predict the Tottenham loss, that's for sure. Thought that, but you know, it takes balls to do that. Probably be honest, but no, look, for me, I genuinely do believe we can cause an upset. I mean, look, at the end of the day, records are always there to be broken. That's what they say, isn't it? So
right.
For me, I'm going to go 2-1 Tottenham. I'll be very, very surprised if we keep a clean sheet. But Son is chasing down Mo Salah for that golden boot. Son's on 19, Mo Salah's on 22. We keep Mo Salah quiet tomorrow and Son bags another 1 or 2. All of a sudden, the chase is on and he can well and truly catch him for that golden boot. I think Kulusevski has to start tomorrow instead of Lucas if we want that window for me.
Just before we let you go, did you have a nice Thursday night?
Oh, absolutely. I encourage everybody to go and check out my tweet, actually. I put up a nice look, at the end of the day, I mean, we all know what happened last time. So I just put up a picture of censored across my mouth, and I just literally said to them, you know, we all know what happened last time, so tonight I won't speak. I'll just enjoy your tears in silence. So they got what they wanted at the end of the day, so they shouldn't complain or cry too much.
Absolutely. And Bob Spur TV with the super chat saying, I've noticed David keeping hush regarding West Ham today, so we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, look, we all know what happened last time. I think the quieter I stay, the better. You know, at the end of the day, I know how to rattle their cages, and I take satisfaction from that. So I'll just sit here in silence, and I'm enjoying drinking their tears. They're very tasty today.
Big up, Dave. We'll see you all on the pump up tomorrow. So looking forward to that.
I want to see loads of people on this pump up tomorrow. I know a lot of you are nervous, so come and speak to me before the game. It's delusion hour. I'll have you pumped and ready. So let's go. Pre-match pump up tomorrow. I want to see you all there. Come on, you Spurs, and big up the WeAreTottenhamTV army.
Come on, you Spurs, and everyone
Dave.
go and subscribe to David Harris, the Irish Hotspur, as well. Some great Spurs content, and you can catch him on the pre-match pump-up tomorrow. But yeah, very exciting and intense weekend ahead for us Spurs fans. Pre-match pump-up tomorrow, followed on by the live watch-along with Rez and Danny Kiriakou, followed by the post-match fan show where it's your time to have your say with Rez and Danny. Obviously, me and Sim will be up at Anfield tomorrow, grabbing you all the news and stories from inside the ground. So looking forward to that. Predicted lineup and potentially a Tottenham update on the way. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.